backstabs, or maybe he's got something like a gnomish cloaking device for a third vanish. You know, he's absolutely going to need it here. If he's not going to be able to get this vanish off here, I just don't see him winning it. You know, as soon as that sheep comes out and Mage creates that distance, it's almost always over. You know, so it just seems like it's going to be a lot more difficult for the rogue to be able to close that gap against that Mage without at least preparation or a sprint even.
Something, a lucky net perhaps, and wait for the Mage to blink, then get a net off, hope it closes the distance. I'm not sure what the the best call is going to be in terms of his trinkets here. He's not going to have the rocket helmet yet, even if he utilizes the 3-minute refractory period. I'm going to see what trinkets he's actually going to be going with right now, unless he decides to switch to the last second. He's kind of choosing to go with that the ice.
Yo, what up,
you
guys?
Cooldown and the crit. I think that's a solid option.
What's up, bro?
And that'll probably be something.
What's up, everybody? Sorry for the messed up stream start.
How does he use this?
I think I fixed it now.
Reflector. A full frostbolt would be ideal, but even a rank 1, just to get the slow on the Mage and prevent it from landing on him, I mean, it could make the difference here.
This is Duel Tournament number 2. Cross-faction Duel Tournament number 2. It's casted by OG Jeffrey, Sauce-K, kind of myself. I'll be chiming in a little bit.
And it looks like Shelton just showed up late here. It looks like he just got home. So we're going to try and bring him into the Duel Tournament since he did, pay. He was really kind and he allowed us to wait till this week. So I'm sure he's really, really excited to be here. Honestly, it'd be a shame to have one of the favorites to win this tournament, at least not be able to show up. So, I'd like to have him here. So. But yeah, no, it just looks like honestly this first set of duels here between Epeen and Simbax is all but over here. I mean, Epeen still has has a cold blood or has an ice block available to him here in probably about a minute, and Simbax really just has his vanish and maybe a sprint if he can manage to clutch it out here. But yeah, honestly, with how well Epeen's been playing this and creating that spacing that he needs between him and the rogue, it seems like it's Epeen's game to win here.
Ooh, don't even need to be an Auric still going to resist that grenade. There's always that chance. And he still might have got the sheep off anyway, just because of the time. He gets a secondary sheep off there, puts the full fireball down the rank 1 frostbolt afterwards. Doesn't exactly get reflect, but does get prevented the rank 1 frostbolt there. Does reflect though. He does close the distance, but immediately going to blink out. Still has the mana shield up, and the frost nova is going to land. Utilizes the vanish, opens up with the cheap shot, and the ice block is going to mitigate that immediately. Mage is just kind of burning some time. They are low on mana right now.
And amazing turn of events here. He was able to get the crippling poison here, but it looks like Epeen is going to try and get this polymorph off. He is going to get blinded here immediately, and now Simbax here is going to go for as much of a reset as he possibly can. I would like
kind of good for the rogue.
Use his cooldowns as soon as possible to try and avoid a further blink. Epeen Law here is just so low on mana. If he can get this polymorph off, he might be able to clutch it out here. He doesn't have an evocation available to him, so he's just going to first aid here, maybe get a couple of ticks of water off here, but this heartbeat's going to be able to proc here, and it looks like Simbax might be able to take this game here against him and Epeen Law. Epeen Law is just so low on mana that Simbax is just able to create so much control here. Simbax obviously still at 100% health, still at full mana. He is going to be able to get that polymorph off, but is going to get gouged. Unfortunately, though, he isn't going to be able to get another crippling poison proc here, so Epeen Law is going to create some distance here. He's going to try and get some bandages off, and it looks like Simbax, this DR Sheep is really, really proving difficult for Epeen Law. He is going to manage to get himself back up to 10% mana, 11% mana. He might be able to do something with this. This sap here, though, obviously creating some distance here. Epeen Law down to 68 health, 6% mana. I want to see Epeen Law be able to clutch us out here, but I really want to say Simbax managed to find this rhythm here, and maybe he's kind of gotten a read on Epeen Law, and this might be a change here. This second polymorph is going to pop here, but he's going to be able to get the stealth off. Epeen Law is in a leap of trouble here. He doesn't have Ice Block, he doesn't have Cold Snap, and he's going to get sapped here. It will be up to Simbax here to play this properly. Maybe he can combo point stack and get a nice eviscerate off, but instead he's just going to go for the ambush. He's not going to be able to get a crit here, and now Epeen Law is going to create some more distance. He's going to reset as long as possible here and just try and get as much food and health as possible. And again, Epeen Law actually managing to create this spacing that he needed. He was down to 2% health, or 2% mana, 1% health, and he's really clawed himself back. Really, really impressive play by him. And so now he's just going to put a rank 1 Frostbolt on him. He's going to try and get a couple of Scorches off and keep that distance. But the grenade's going to be able to land on him, and now Simpac's trying to put himself onto the forefront of this duel here. He's going to get Frost Nova here. He's going to get gapped here. This Frost Nova is going to continue to keep this distance. These wands are going to keep him in combat. And now he's just going to try and kite him as best he can using only rank 1 Frostbolts to keep the distance and keep these slows on. And now he's going to go for, again, another rank 1 Frostbolt, keep him in this combat, keep this wanding distance, and make sure that he keeps him in this dead zone that Simbax really can't afford to be in.
It was looking like the Rogues game. After the DR Sheep, it didn't look like there was going to be much that the Mage was going to be able to do. But
that was sick.
They waited long enough before they sheeped again.
The rank 1 Frostbolt kite with wand,
and that gave him multiple sheeps once again that were not in the yard, and he got a lot of use out of that. Between a couple of ticks of health, the bandage, and the Rogue not having more vanishes, once the Mage was able to break the distance at that point, the Rogue's in a tough spot. Rank 1 Frostbolts and Wands while just regenning mana and cycling those Fire Blasts is going to be enough control to just take that Rogue down. A lot of the time, fighting those Rogues, it's about the instant cast, more so than these long casts, unless they're polymorphed. And if you don't have mana for the instant cast, though, you can always throw in that Wand, and that's exactly what our Mage friend did here.
Yeah, really well played.
We're going to move on to Vex and Defunct. EP would like to use his full 10 minutes, so I fear we just might as well move on to the next duel. Keep things going.
Perfect. All right.
I'm fighting a shaman, by the way, first, guys.
Flip a coin. One of them will fight Shelto. He showed up late, so.
Okay, got it.
What's up, Sam? Appreciate it, man.
Alright, wish me luck, boys.
We just got a small bracket today, guys.
All right,
here's the bracket if you guys care to look at it.
Warlock versus Mage. I really want to say that the Warlock is just significantly favored here. You know, he has access to the Fell Hunter. He has a silence. He's got increased magic resistance. He's got spell stones, health stones, and just incredible damage to back it up. Whereas the Mage is kind of forced here into just mostly using instant cast here, so I'd like to see how Vexus is going to be able to take advantage of this. It's definitely Mage is at the back foot of this, in my opinion.
Yeah, yep. He's not going to have a lot of time for the full cast, not even a lot of time for the decursing, because the GCD is just something he can't really afford against the Warlock. He has to try to burst him down. The longer this fight lasts, the more likely it is the Warlock's going to win it. So let's see if the Mage can get aggressive enough right away, just cycles in the Fire Blast. Let's see if he takes the Curse off of himself. I suspect he won't, but there's always that. He does actually use the GCD on that. Curse Agony's a lot of damage, then goes right into that instant casting. Trying to finish off this Warlock. Although the Warlock's plenty healthy right now.
Early vote off, you love to see it.
Pressure on them. And the Mage, honestly, is getting lower on mana than they'd like to be. And then you look back over to the Warlock, and they're perfectly fine on resources. I just don't know if the Mage is
was that Arena Grandmaster Trinket?
Here comes out, he just runs in the other direction.
Yeah, and I mean, these full dots here just
Grandmaster.
taking away
Insane.
effects are just completely destroying him here. He's already down to about 3% health, and again, these dots just start taking away again. He's just
If I fight Defunct, dude, I'm gonna fucking lose, dude.
Be able to take game number 1, and again,
This
it definitely
toe-up,
feels
dude.
very Warlock
Toe-up is
favored, you know,
insane.
especially with those heavy magic resist and the access to the spell stone here. As
Gnomish
as,
battle
access
chicken.
to silence and fear. There's just so many tools to maintain control in these duels here. And
Defunct
it, you
is
know,
legend.
it kind of just like innately counters every caster is what it feels like.
Are you looking forward to phase 2?
Just the
Absolutely.
Warlock class.
Yeah,
There's this
I am.
kind of almost tank hybrid
What's up, Bams
DPS
Mums?
class, and they play it well. They play it very well, especially.
What up, Murderer? Free stack of faps if you win?
You
Dude.
sometimes see the Warlock pet getting
I don't know, dude.
down,
This dude is
but we haven't
spooky,
been
man.
seeing
Defunct?
much of that in these tournaments. Maybe it's because as opposed to those I had seen on Henhouse, I felt like I saw the Pekka AoE down there a lot more. Perhaps it's because we're seeing, sure enough, right here, you're seeing a lot of people right now in phase 1 with the tier 1, and that tier 1 is giving their pets extra resistance.
Pobus is playing in this, by the way, Murderer. He's in the bracket.
Why we're seeing these Fell Hunters getting AoE down less than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, not to mention.
Hey, glad to see you playing again. What's up, Mo? We're gonna see more of you actually playing. Yeah, we're gonna be trying to play a little bit today. do this duel tournament.
You know what I mean? Like when you get to 300 resistance, it doesn't matter, you know, which patch you're on. It's going to be pretty significant. But beforehand, it really felt like if you were playing, you know, a Warlock and you got your 5 out of 8 tier 1, you know, your pets still got hit by most spells. And at least here on Classic, even with like 25 resistance, you really notice the difference.
So the talents I'm running, Mo, is I'm running this
all right, and it looks like the
Master
flag is going down
Demonologist
here.
Siphon Life Spec.
Funky Pot and Vexus is about to start here. You know, again,
As far as gear, it hasn't
really
changed too much over the past couple
Vexus
weeks.
Trying to adapt here and maybe, you know, attempt a different playstyle here against Funky Pot, because AoEing down this Fell Hunter looks like it's just not going to work. The Fell Hunter has too much health and too many resistances to be able to back it up. So Vex is here, going to go here and start off with the Fire Blast here. He's going to get dotted up. These corruptions are going to start ticking on him. This Siphon Life is going to start ticking on him. This Curse of Agony is going to start ticking on him. Full dots on Vexes already. He needs to Ice Block or do something here soon.
Put some good damage on the Warlock.
70% health. He's going to use his Health Stone to get himself there, though. And now he's going to go for this Death Coil Fear here. There is no Will of Forsaken now. He is going to be able to pop it off. I thought he had used it prior, but no, it looks like Vex is just a counter spell. And Vex is still here extremely on the back foot. He's low on mana, low on health, and he's just not going to be able to come back.
It feels like there's a high likelihood of getting out resourced right now. Very hard to get enough value from your mana pool in order to get through that thick total of HP with your current spell.
What's up, Moni? How you doing?
Let
me see when I play.
They're gonna need some big crits from Shatter, in the form of either just Frost Nova.
There's one more after them, Nismo vs. Krasis, then I play after that.
Somehow finagling off.
I'm playing a Shaman.
Possibility of a full Frost Bolt into the Shatter combo, but you know, how do you do that with a Fell Hunter? It's tricky. I don't know what his best course of action is going to be where it comes to that. I think ultimately it's going to come down to those instant casts. But does he have the mana pool to sustain the damage needed to take down the Warlock in his current phase?
Hey, what's up? You got me.
I mean,
it's been a minute. Yeah, man. Good to see you, bro.
It looks like it's proven to be pretty difficult. As far as I've seen, I think Zico tried like an elemental spec, and you know, even that really didn't have that much of an impact against Warlock. You know, as soon as one silence hits, you know, he's down to one, you know, spell cap or one school of spells. But you know, even that one school of spells isn't enough. He's still cast, you know what I mean? He still gets silenced for 3 seconds. He's still, you know, only casting potentially a Frostbolt. He is going to potentially be, you know, Curse of Tongues as well. So it's going to be maybe 3.5 seconds as opposed to 3 seconds. And in those meantime, you know, you're getting a full round of dot ticks in between you. And that's like another 1,000
This cloak is sick, man.
You know,
he picked up Saffron Drape.
That's just not enough to be able to compete against the Warlock here. You know, they've got 5,000
I would love to use
health.
this.
They have high resistances.
I'm rocking the Beast Cloak just for the raw stam. 17 stam on the Beast Cloak.
So I don't know. You know, I'd like to see something potentially a little bit more, you know, just kind of out there kind of plays that you wouldn't expect. Something like I don't know, Sheep Funky Pot kill the Fell Hunter, but even then, you know, the Fell Hunter can just eat the Sheep debuff. So I don't know. It feels so in favor of the Warlock here. At least, you know, the Mage versus Warlock is like, to me, it feels like the Warrior versus Mage matchup, where the Mage really needs some tools to be able to win these.
At the very least, perhaps some more gear, perhaps trinket. You know, normally I like the idea of killing.
You should put 100 HP enchant on your head and pants. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I have it on my rocket helm as well.
Already, Cold's not even going to connect with the Warlock. They do get their silence off, but the Warlock then counter silences as well, just kind of mitigating it, then getting a fear off. So ultimately, there it is. It's actually going to get reflected, but then instantly Will of Forsaken brings it out of it. So the Mage is about half HP already, even though they're playing quite well, but not well enough apparently, because Warlock is matching that and some. As they take this final duel.
Damn, dude, just rolled him.
Again,
Funky Pot's a beast.
It's not that Vexus is not playing it well. It's that, you know, it's just the matchup. You know, Warlock just completely counters the Mage. Is what it feels like. Every tool that the Mage has, you know, the Warlock has an answer. The Mage has access to things like Ice Barrier, and then the Warlock can just dispel it. You know, the Mage casts really high impact spells, but they have to cast it, and the Warlock can silence it. So it just feels like this very, you know, not even like an ebb and flow. It's just This is a mathematical problem, and I have all the answers. You know, that kind of feels like that to me, at least.
And you know, the Mage did well there with reflecting the fear. Problem is, it was on an undead, so it was pretty much mitigated instantly with Will the Forsaken, like he never even did it. If that would have been a different,
What's up, Smiley?
you
What
know,
do you
if
think
that
is
would have been
stronger in
an
BG's
undead, I
Hunter
think
or
they would have
Warlock
found more success
damage
when that
wise?
play had occurred, with being able to follow it up then with
I
something.
really have no
that
idea, bro.
Warlock would have been feared for that full
It's
duration, but with that breaking
probably
right away,
Warlock does more
it was
damage though.
mitigated. Both players got to
If you're
reflect
just
off it.
multi-dotting
You don't
like
see that all
crazy
the
and
time. Both players did get their reflects
it's
off.
spec dependent on the Warlock.
Send that back at their opponent.
If you're playing SL like I want to play, you probably will do less damage, but
Yeah. And I mean, you know, again, it happens sometimes. So it is what it is. And it looks like here, EP Law versus Pobus is starting already. He's actually just going to start off here with a nice little sheep here. And it looks like EP Law is going to try and counter here with his own sheep and maybe set himself up here with a Fire Blast, maybe a Frost Nova or something. But it looks like EP Law is just going to pop here all of his Frost and Fire words here. He's going to go for another Polymorph here. He's just trying to get rid of this sheep here and get as many of these free Frost bolts off as possible. And it looks like he's going to get counterspelled here by Pobus. Pobus here is going to be able to follow it up here with a nice Frostbolt, full Frostbolt cast here. Looks like it's max rank, and EP Law is out of spells to cast. He's got no health left. It looks like he's already down to 60% health.
Nice
he's gonna get grenaded here. Pope is playing this very beautifully here. He's got the tier 1, he's got the damage, and it looks like EP Law is on the back foot here. He is gonna get able to get the sheep off, but it looks like it's gonna get immediately broken here by this chicken. He's gonna get silenced here. EP Law gonna try and get a huge shatter combo off if possible, but these wands are just taken away at him, and it looks like he's already too far behind in this duel here. EP Law gonna get counters here. He's gonna get cone colded here, and he's gonna lose this
and he used his ice block at the end. I don't know if that was smart to use the ice block. He was too far behind to win that. He's not gonna have that.
Kind of playing that
the next
duel.
duel.
You know, he even got the Skull of Impending Doom off for a sheep there. I think there was also the chicken beating on him, so either way it was going to break, but he did even play that one correctly on his part by having that Skull of Impending Doom chicken. So, yeah, no critique on my part. Pobus there.
Yeah, very well played by Pobus there. You know, he's got the gear, he's got the damage, and hopefully he's going to be able to follow it up with some more really clutch plays here. It's really, really fun to watch that duel here between the two of them. A lot of people are not huge fans of the mirror matches, but I think that the mirror match, at least in most cases, except for, in my opinion, the Rogue case, just because if you can't kill the player in the opener in Rogue versus Rogue, then you're doing something wrong. But yeah. Here it is, duel number
83211. Could you link it, Mo?
Yeah,
if you could link it to me on Discord, I'll take a look at it.
Last week, I felt we were seeing a bit more of that. Both players kind of... Ooh, he blinked out of the Polymorph's range here. Pobus is going to blink out of the Polymorph range. Doesn't want that to go off. Putting a rank 1 Frostbolt down on him. Just kind of getting his opponent chilled. I can respect that. You just feel more comfortable when they are chilled. Potentially even going for that freezing proc. Just hoping then to crit them afterwards. Not even necessarily needing to use the Nova. Now, there is the Poly down, but they're not going to be able to bandage up. They have the Servants on him. They AoE him down. Use a little bit of mana, but not too much. Re-polying one more time. They should bandage instantly. Are they going for the food and water, though? They might be going for the food and water play, potentially. They do. They're not going to have a lot of ticks because they re-poly. That diminishing return is on number 2 right now. And that's the 3rd right there, actually. So they didn't even... They got like 1 tick of food, 2 ticks of food. Full Frostbolt comes down. The silence comes out from Pobus. It's any Frost Novas, but they blink out immediately and just kind of trade their instant cast spells. The grenade's going to come out and is going to connect onto Pobus as he blinks out of it immediately.
All right, now here, Pobus going to get counterspelled here. He's going to actually ice block out of it immediately here. He's not going to let EP Law try and get this tempo here that he was trying to gather. And now Pobus here going to get polymorphed here. It looks like EP is going to be able to go for another soft reset here. Would like to use his bandage, but he's just going for the food and health play here. It's not a bad play. Go for as many ticks as possible here. He's going to have to come here and again, you know, sheep here as soon as possible. Pobus still full health. He's actually going to be able to resist this sheep here. He's going to be able to get this counter spell off here onto the frost spells at that. So now he's going to be forced into this blink here. The shatter combo is going to be able to land here on the Cone of Cold. So now EP Law going to go again for another as hard of a reset as possible here. He is going finally for the first aid. It is going to fall off here. This polymorph here onto Pobus. Pobus still in the forefront of this duel here. He is a little bit low on mana though. He wasn't able to get as many drinks off here as EP Law, who is going for as many resets as possible. And now EP Law just going to try and get this soft reset here. Instead, Pobus is just going to go for this EVK here. He knows he has the time to do so. Counterspell not available to him. This grenade is going to miss here from EP Law. He is going to be able to be silenced here into this Shatter combo. Beautiful reflector here, actually, onto Pobus. Pobus is now on the back foot here. He is low on mana. He's down about 35% here, where EP Law is just playing this long game beautifully. And Pobus here looked like he may have used a potion of sorts there. I'm not really sure what he used, but it looks like EP Law is just going to be able to follow it up here with the Frostbolt. He's going to go for some Arcane Explosions here. Both players on low mana. EP Law actually did not conserve his mana well. He's just going for as many Arcane Blasts as possible here. He's going to be able to pop his mana potion here. He is going to go for a Polymorph here as Pobus, and Pobus is going to use his first aid here to try and get as much of a reset as possible. Polymorph Big doing the work that it's supposed to. That's going to break early though, and now both players trying to find their opening that they're looking for. Pobus going to be able to get the counterspell Frost over here off, and it looks like the Shatter combo is going to be able to land here. The Polymorph is going to land here from EP, and EP now going to be able to get this evocation off. I'm not really sure.
Oh, that's huge, dude. EP
it's looking like EP now. If he didn't have that evocate, it was looking like it was going to come down to a wand war. Now, that's not to say that Pobus can't reset and drink, but he has already used evocation, so it's, you know, EP breaking through the ice barrier, reshaping, and then frostbolting again. I respect that. But here comes the polymorph from Pobus, potentially throws the grenade, cancels the grenade, does want to get that grenade down, potentially then going with the polymorph afterwards, where this grenade's going to get resisted, the polymorph's not going to actually be able to get off here. The frostbolt comes out, full frostbolt at that. Honestly though, EP's burned all his mana. If Pobus does get like a sheep and then is able to bandage himself back up, he's in this. He did silence, but he's not going for the sheep. He's going for the frostbolt, puts a fire ward down as well. But honestly, he needed to get defensive, and he did with the ice barrier afterwards. Both players have that little bit of extra security. The freeze proc's going to come out onto EP in here as a full frostbolt comes out afterwards, but neither player has mana. But Pobus on the back foot as he's trying to kind of close the distance here. Break the distance.
It's so close, man.
Coming out. Both players very low. I thought EP was going to have this. He had way more mana. And not to say it's over just yet, but the bandage is going to come out. He breaks it with a wand, but he got quite a few ticks off. The polymorph comes out, but he silences immediately. The full frostbolt comes down here onto Pobus. Is going to connect. He needs the sheep again. Both players wanting as much as they can. Every wand matters, folks, as EP takes the secondary duel.
What a duel. Holy shit.
Wow, that was explosive.
That was a very close match. I really liked how both players just tried to get
I'll take a look, Mo.
resets as possible to try and find these favorable openings here to get these shatter combos off and really try and take over the duel here. But in the end here, I think it was EP and Lol who was just going for as many sheeps and just playing the long game, knowing that he's going to be able to outlast Pobus here in this mana game if he just went for these sheeps, and really forced Pobus onto the back foot tempo wise.
You know,
yeah, it looks good, man.
They were both CCing each other really well and resetting.
It looks good.
Really well
SLSB is awesome.
It felt like at the end,
I don't know if you
Pobus
need the
maybe
points in
would've had time
Imcap.
for another reset.
Maybe you do.
I'm not sure because there was no diminishing return on the sheep. And up to that point, we were seeing flawless resets on both players' parts, back and forth, back and forth. But that was a really long duel, and I think that slowly started
you probably
to
do.
stop.
What else are you gonna get?
Forward,
Improved spell stun?
at the end, at the very least, where
Imcap's got to be better than that.
we all of a sudden.
No, it
we
looks
could
really
see-
good, yeah.
We could have
Looks
seen.
really good, dude.
I think we could have still seen a Frost Nova sheep, perhaps. And honestly, maybe he could have broke the distance.
How many
at
soul
that
shards?
point.
I
I'm
got
not
2
sure.
sacks.
Either way, that was
So,
a
pretty
long
good.
duel, and there was very little to critique during that. Both players did play well there. I think they used just about all of their cooldowns, so they'll probably utilize that 3-minute refractory period. Both of them will enjoy it at that, just being closer to that potential cold snap if that duel lasts long enough once again. But yeah, good duel overall. EP, he got that whole evocation off, so you thought at that point it was surefire in his favor, but Pobus actually really made him work for that, and EP was again by the end of that as this next duel starts.
Yeah, and both players here just trying to get this polymorph off here to just, to get these frostbolts off and to follow it up with another, polymorph to just kind of create this back tempo for these ice barriers here. It looks like Pobus is just waiting as long as possible to try and get himself at full mana before he does something like this. And now EP Long just trying to try and close a little bit of distance here. He's going to be able to hopefully get a Frostbolt here off and get these slows and maybe get a shatter combo to follow up, and it looks like both these players are just trading Frostbolt for Frostbolt right now, though. And Poba's getting the back foot of this here. As looks like EP Law was able to get a huge crit here with this Frostbolt, but now Poba's just landing Scorch after Scorch here. EP Law not really willing to commit to this spell trade, if you will. And now both players here are just going to try and soft reset here. Going to use as many of their cooldowns as Fire Ward and Ice Barrier as much as possible here to get them off the cooldown as soon as possible while still maintaining the buffs. And so now EP Law here knows that Pobus was able to get this reset here. He's just going to try and close off the distance, make sure he's not going to be able to get these buffs off here. And now Pobus trying to land a huge Frostbolt here. EP trying to land a huge Frostbolt here as well. Again, just both players trading blow for blow, not really fully committing to anything as of quite yet. It looks like both players are, still have their escape routes available to them. And now EP Law can be able to land a nice Frostbolt here, but it's going to get ice blocked here. Very beautifully done from EP Law, as now both players, again, just trading Frostbolt for Frostbolt, trying to maintain their buffs as long as possible so they don't lose their health. And now the Blink's going to come out here from EP Law as that grenade lands, but now the grenade's going to land for Pobus. Pobus going to be able to follow it up here with the counterspell Blink. And now it looks like both players here are going to try and do what they can here. The Polymorph, it looks like it's about to drop here. EP Law very, very low. The Skeleton's going to be wailing on him this entire time. He's not going to be able to do too much here, and instead he is going to get counterspelled, and this duel's going to be over.
And it was kind of an interesting start to that.
Tied it up, man.
Very defensive play coming out for both mages. Just like, it was a very honorable duel at that to start things off for the first 30 seconds or so with just Frostbolts. Just max rank Frostbolts from either mage, sometimes rank 1s, sometimes
what's up,
max
Petro?
Frostbolts. That was a key.
I've been thinking about how I'm going to open against Shaman, yeah.
And you don't always see that. You don't see a lot of hard casting of Frostbolts or Shadow Bolts.
That's my first opponent, by the way, Shaman. I think after this duel, I think I'm up next.
CC, or that they're
I'm fighting
like
good
no way to
mood.
interrupt you, and they can't get you in the time that's going to cast, or whatever the case might be. You don't see a lot of full cast, but that time you were seeing a lot of full cast Frostbolts as they were kind of weaving in and out of range of each other. Even both players kind of respecting the other and playing very safe to start them. And I honestly, even as the duel went on, you were seeing a lot more full Frostbolts and rank 1 Frostbolts at a close range than you'd think. And the rank 1 Frostbolts just to potentially try to fish for that freeze proc. Force the mage to blink, so then you can Nova them and they're stuck in that position for a full shatter combo. But yeah, that second duel goes to Pobus.
Third duel. Looks like Pobus here is on match point, if I'm not mistaken. EP and Law playing this pretty well here, but I think honestly Pobus is playing this a little bit cleaner. He was able to set up these shatter plays. It seems like a little bit better here, and he was, he's obviously gotten the better of EP and Law. 2 out of the 3 times. So we'll see which player is going to be able to close it out here. But honestly, I think at this point, my money's on Pobus. I think he's I think he's been playing a little bit cleaner than EP and Law, and the record is showing because of it.
I'm a little surprised we didn't see a reflector play anywhere in there. I'm not sure. Let me actually double check if either player is using one right now. Partially because there was so many full ranks. Yeah, we do have a reflector on Pobus. We do have a reflector on both of them because they were launching so many projected full Frostbolts that it feels those are the ones that you're normally going to reflect. So maybe we'll see that this time.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see some really big reflector plays here. When you get counterspelled and sat, you're stuck in this Frost Nova. It's going to be one of those plays, that you're going to want a reflector, and so I'd like to see players like that just hold off and really take full advantage of these really key and high impact play cooldowns.
Oh, just realized I was on mute. What's up, Colby? How's it going, bro?
Really utilizing that 3-minute period here.
Asmon claimed that a warrior would destroy a shaman because the crits are more rare than warrior crits.
Up on themselves, make sure to drink up.
I don't know about that. In a duel, 1v1?
This potential match.
I think a shaman could kill a warrior 1v1, man.
Rank 1 Frostbolts being traded here, just slowing their opponents, potentially trying to get a freeze. Seeing a couple of fake casting polymorphs, probably not counters or improved counterspell spec if they're fake casting with each other. Grenade comes out, it's going to land there. Does just with Frost Nova, Kona cooldown, trying to get that Shatter Kick combo onto Pobus. Really utilize that spec. Gets the sheep off in the first aid, and it's nice he can use that early. because you might be able to get a couple of bandage cycles off throughout this duel when you get it off that early. Even getting a couple ticks of mana, which is really nice. Rank 1 Frostbolt, getting the freeze and then the Cone of Cold afterwards, puts the Frost Nova down and the silence. Explosive play from Pobus, showing you why you use the rank 1 Frostbolt. So you sometimes get those freeze procs, and then you can follow it up instantly with the Cone of Cold, and then you still have the Nova for an additional Shatter combo.
Yeah, very, very cleanly played here by Pobus, but unfortunately, EP is going to be able to get this sheep off here onto Pobus here. He is going to go for this resheep here, as he's going to be able to channel here. What looks like a max rank Frostbolt here onto Pobus. Pobus is going to be able to just put out all his cooldowns up. He's going to be able to land a really nice counterspell here and into an immediate sheep is what it looks like. Pobus just going to try and get as much mana that he can back in this time that EP Law is stuck here into the CC. And it looks like, again, both players just trying to outlast each other. They know that this is the mirror match. They know what the counter spells are available for each player. The Shadow combo here is going to get blinked here from EP, and EP is going to get felt into an immediate Thorn Grenade. But unfortunately, though, for Pobus here, the sheep is going to be able to land here from EP, and EP now just going to try and get as much mana as he can back and get as much of a reset as he possibly can before restarting this duel. Essentially, but unfortunately for him, the polymorph is going to break early. However, EP is still going to be able to get that polymorph cast off because Pobus opted here for the Ice Barrier play instead, and now he's going to get grenaded. He is going to blink out of this. EP Law going to use all that he can here onto Pobus. Pobus actually still here on the forefront of this duel. EP down to about 70% health. He doesn't have any of his barriers up at this point in time, and instead Pobus is going to put a barrier here. He's going to play defensive. He's going to go for a max rank Frostbolt. He is going to be able to land here another max rank Frostbolt to follow it up, and instead EP Law is just going to be put hugely onto the back foot. He's not going to be able to come back here as he tries to get this polymorph off.
That's it. Pobus
You're
wins.
getting so much value
He's a
from
guilty.
those big Frostbolts. When you're getting that many big Frostbolts off, which he was, it's very hard to come back from that level of value. You need to interrupt them, whether it's from, the counterspell probably wasn't available, but maybe at that point some arcane missiles. Either way, it just feels so bad when
You
you're
have the CDs above the players. It's a weak aura, bro.
rank Frost.
I think I'm playing now.
One of them even proc
Shit.
freeze land. I think at least 2-3 in a row full Frostbolts. At that point, it's just like, it was Pobus was on the forefront of that duel for quite a while, but I think it was still there was still potential for a comeback before those 3 Frostbolts, just full ones, just back, just in the face.
I think I'm playing a shaman.
It's just too much damage.
Yeah, I mean, those Frostbolts really smacked the shit out of him, to say the least. Yeah, I really want to commend Pobus for how well he played that. He saved all of his huge mana dumps from when he had those shatter combos available to him. He saved his counterspell for when he knew he was going to be able to get those shatter combos off, and he always kept fishing for as many shatter combos as possible, while still trying to maintain a safe enough distance to where if he gets onto the back foot, he can soft reset with those polymorphs and those e-takes and try and create some distance that way. So very, very well played from both players. But again, I think Pobus played it just a little bit better, and the record shows.
Yeah, I think it was more consistent, cleaner play for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's going to be here. It's going to be Krazis versus Shelto. Shelto was going to be was able to win.
Oh, I'm not up yet.
The
Then I guess.
tournament on week the third duel tournament, the first cross faction. No, the second duel tournament. Sorry, and it was Kairos who won the third one. So Krazis here between him and Shelto.
Thanks,
He's going to get these purges off these frost shock. He's going to be able to close some distance here. The Zarn Grenade is going to try and create some distance here, but unfortunately, it's going to get resisted here. And now Shelto, honestly, very severely on the back foot here. He is going to pop a Healthstone here, and now here comes the Sphere is what it looks like. Instead, it's going to be an Emulate into a Silence. Kraz is so fucking low at this point. That Shadow Burn landed, and that crit was enough.
Oh, poor Shaman. He was putting a lot of pressure on that Warlock. The Warlock was confident enough to where they didn't even use Curse of Tongues. They just went right for the Agony. You probably would have saw Tongues versus like an Alley Shaman, but that makes sense versus Enhanced. It's mostly the melees and the shocks, and so you're just going for that raw damage, and you're not you're gonna burn them down before they burn you down. Shaman's got about 3,500 health, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say just inspecting Krazis here. Definitely lacking in the stamina department, but he does have some shadow resistance gear on.
Yeah, honestly, his gear is really good. He's got access to items like Tidal Charm. He's got himself an Arcanite Reaper. He's got SGC as well as Crown of Destruction. The only piece of gear that I'm kind of a little bit iffy on is the fact that he's wearing a spider belt here. I'm not sure that he's, I'm not sure that he's aware that he's still wearing it. But I'm just gonna message him just to make sure.
Maybe predicting the net play from Shelton.
Yeah, very possible. So that'd be a big one. That'd ruin his day pretty much if he got netted for that long of a period of time as an hands.
Damn, bro, he's even got
Yeah,
Title
that would
Charm
definitely spell doom.
and Goblin Bomb Dispenser. What a gamer.
for the Shaman, I
What a
would
gamer.
say pretty much immediately. You just put those dots on and you go sit AFK, and that's the.
So what do you guys think Krasis needs to do to win here?
He needs to be reroll. He needs to be really, really careful here with his tremor totems as well as his grounding totems. If he's able to predict when Shalto is going to use a death coil, and he's going to be able to eat the death coil here, it's going to be the game. But instead here, it looks like Shalto here is just going to open up here with Goblin Rock and Helm. He's going to be able to create a bunch of space and clear all these totems out here. For himself, and now he's going to pop all of his cooldowns. He's going to go for this.
That was clean, dude. So up into
Soulfire.
Oh, it heartbeated though. Oh no, the coil hits the.
He's going to go for a Fear. He's actually going to cancel here for the grenade. Fear's going to be able to land
Dude.
here. It looks like it's all but over here for Kraz's. Shelto might be low, but he has been displaced so far that I don't know how he's supposed to be able to come back from this.
I believe the grounding totem ate the death.
It did. That grounding totem ate the death coil, letting me get as far as he did here. But now with that look at that shaman just get whittled down. There's that totem eating the immolate there. He gets himself healed up just that little bit, but that shaman and still needs to close the gap. You don't got his charge. He doesn't got. There's he doesn't have his net.
Oh my god, he still took it. That was insane.
At this moment to close that distance.
That went from super clean to being on the back foot so fast.
The shaman or the warlock was down to 20%.
Warlocks, man, what a class.
Takes one big melee, one wind fury, you're dead.
That was a fun one to watch.
But that fear is absolutely huge. No way to break it, no way to get out of it. Time
Yeah,
to roll
that fear did not
blacksmithing.
break, bro.
Honestly, if you were taking these, if anyone was taking dueling seriously, or PvP very, very seriously, I would not blame them for going blacksmithing just for that.
Yeah, we definitely saw one of the weaknesses of this spec that Krasis is playing. At the end there, his heals just took way too long to get off. He didn't have that cast reduction from the resto tree, so he just could not.
Petrol, is it really imbalanced over there, man? Oh, what's up, Defcan? Or Malderon? Or both of you? What's up, bros?
Can somebody
What up, Cargos? Just wanted to say GMA is the best. Always looking forward to listening to you guys. Thanks very much, Mo Freeze. That's nice of you to say, brother.
Got accidentally smacked by the coat or by the ref of me. All right, and it looks like Shelto is ready to do this duel here. It looks like Krasis here, however, is going to try and milk this time as long as possible here. It looks like he's got
What's up, Chris?
seconds here, just trying to
How we doing, brother?
a couple of items that he swapped over to ready before he starts this duel here. If he is going to use this rocket helm, I'd like to see him use it on the pet, not Shelto instead, because the pet's just going to eat up the rocket helm, and Kraz is just going to be left here.
Yeah, you got a rocket helm, the Fell Hunter.
He's going to be left here without a paddle, really.
Yeah, I would like to say on the pet would be totally viable. The other thought was maybe he would use it just to close distance at some point, but either way, on the pet is always there. It is very viable way to do it. But now if this warlock gets the fear off, there we go. The Grandmaster Arena Trinket there procking.
He's going to be able to reflect that death coil here, and it looks like Shelto here is immediately on this back foot because of it. Krazis might be able to take this game here. Halterra is going to be able to try and go off here. It looks like Shelto here, again, on this back foot. He knows this Earthshock just came out, but Shelto trying to do what he can. And honestly, when Krazis was able to reflect that death coil there, that definitely swung the entirety of that.
Yeah, that's the type of play we want to see. Won't have it this next time, but it's really nice to get one on board. Now maybe he can cycle through something else as far as his trinkets goes.
No way, he took it?
Do something else snazzy. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to do anything quite as
Shaman won that one?
as the Shadow Reflector or not, but a net, you know, something maybe that'll bring you towards him and net you right next to him. Something
nutty.
to just, you know, that maybe you just roll the dice when it comes to something like that. But either way, really good reflector. That's hard to reflect, like try
You
to
reflect
reflect
a death coil or something?
You just have to you have to predict when you think they're going to use it. It's hard to like see it visually. They don't normally do it from max range. They normally are going to do it when they're pretty close to you still. So, well done on his part.
Yeah, I wonder if he has a
22 stam cape with the 9 strength on it. You love to see it, dude. I love this.
Immolate conflict.
Strength on a warlock. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like here, Kraz is here. Is just gonna opt here for this lifestone as well as the Goblin Mortar. But I you know,
Shelto has Toep too.
I'm not really sure about the Goblin Mortar here. I feel like the at least, you know, for my sake, the Shaman isn't really too threatened by a small 3-second stun here. It is going to allow Krazis to be able to close a little bit of the distance here, but I feel like the range is relatively short, if I'm not mistaken. For the Goblin Mortar, anyways, I don't know if you guys know that.
I haven't seen one of those used in many moons on these tournaments, if ever. This might be one of the first times.
Fair enough.
I'm not sure of its actual range, though. I don't think it's very long.
Oh, you're rocking Helm the Fell Hunter?
We're about
Gotcha.
to find out is what it looks like here. As
Yeah, Shaman, hell yeah. I'm assuming that's Melder on at the computer.
Here, Kraz is gonna try and create a little bit of distance here so he can get this grenade off without losing too much here. The city's gonna be able to
Shaman
get silence
damage.
here. This Blade's gonna be able to land here. This Death Coil's gonna be able to land here. The Searing Paint's gonna be able to land here. And Kraz is suddenly on
That
the
Wind
back
Fury,
foot.
baby. One Wind Fury.
Shadow burn off. It looks like it's too little too late for Kraz.
You saw that one connection with the axe, dude.
Yeah.
If only that friggin' womboed him, that would have been
snazzy
sick. That would have been
reflector
sick.
Get him out of this one. Fuck, the Death Coil is such a short cooldown too. Yeah, it's such a powerful tool in the arsenal that allows for a guaranteed fear. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get around that.
Yeah, I
Is
feel
that
like
it for him?
Death
Am I
Coil
up?
kind of brings Warlock from like a you know, like a B tier class to the S tier. You know,
B
The fact
tier
that it's an instant
class.
cast, the fact that it's a guaranteed fear,
Wow.
and the fact that it heals you for so much. Just, you know, it's such a crucial.
What's your
crucial
gear?
ability
I've been
that,
stacking DKP. I haven't
when
spent it on
you really
anything.
know
I have a
that
lot of
gets
DKP right
reflected,
now.
you know,
It's
it
pretty
just
much the same
really
shit
changes the
as
entire
before.
dynamic.
I have 7 of 8 fell hard. I'm missing the legs. That's it. So I've been waiting for him to drop.
Now,
I really
wonder
want the
if that
legs to
would
get the
then
8 piece
heal
bonus.
the person that reflected it. I wonder how that.
Other than that, it's pretty standard shit.
Huh.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it actually does damage back to the caster and then heals them for that same.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so mitigates a little bit, but still.
Bonus heat points at me. I guess I'm playing.
Yeah.
Points at me. Okay, I'm fighting good mood. The
Yeah,
shaman.
Death
Alright,
Coil
let
being
me.
such a short cooldown is really one of the main reasons Warlocks are so strong in these duel tournaments, because they have it for every duel, especially when you have a 3-minute refractory period.
All right, I need to like try hard again here.
But even
Remember
if
to
you
play
have like
this
a
game.
1-minute refractory period,
Played this
you
game in a
can
minute.
usually have it up forever.
Yeah, I mean, what you know, when you get to it, when you have abilities that are 2-minute cooldowns, you know, you expect them to be relatively small. You know what I mean? To have relatively smaller impacts. But Death Coil is just such a game changer. You know, it's even good in PvE. You know, you line up a Shadow Bolt, you spam your Death Coil to, you know, right at the end of a Shadow Bolt, just be able to get, you know, a double cast off and kind of boost your meters temporarily. You usually want to do that, you know, right towards the end of a fight, or if it's like a small, you know, kerfuffle, just being able to line something up like that for an extra, you know, 3 to 4k damage.
You guys ready for this shit? Wish me luck, dude.
Damage meters, as well as just does a shit ton of damage, honestly.
Yeah, Good Mood here does have the blacksmithing trinket. I think that's the first one I've seen on this server, so we'll see how useful that is against Cargo.
I wonder if he knows that too.
And Karga is actually very carefully removing this Tremor Totem here before he uses what looks like the Goblin Rocket Helm here, while he's channeling up this wonderful Soulfire here. He's going to be able to get rid of that grounding totem right beforehand. He's going to be able to follow it up here with the death roll. The grounding totem is going to be able to land here for good mood. He's going to create a little bit of space for himself now, and these dots are starting to tick away. Barov's family trigger has finally landed. He's going to be able to land a really nice healing wave off here for himself. But Karkaz obviously just trying to keep this long distance here and get as much damage as possible that he can for free, essentially, with these dots and with these Barovs. And now good mood down to about 50% mana here. He is going to be able to just keep this distance here for himself. He's going to be able to land what looks like a fear. The first one in here actually is going to get grounding totem, and now he's going to be able to land the second one here. The simulate's going to be able to land here. It is not going to break the fear here, which is pretty significant here for Kargaz here. Kargaz actually getting really, really low on mana, but again, these dots are actually ticking away and doing so much for Kargaz.
You know, I will say this: he's not afraid to use his rocket helmet. I love it. Just get that on cooldown, use it, whether it's versus a near matchup, another Warlock, and use it on their pet, and whether it's just on the Shaman, you kill their totems afterwards. It's good play. And honestly, when you sometimes it can be so easy to be like, okay, I gotta hold on to this for the perfect moment, and then you never use it. Whereas if you do find that moment, whereas he did right at the start of that duel, use that rocket helmet to take control of duel number 1, he might have that rocket helmet for duel number 3, 4. Like, because he used it so early and didn't hold on to that, and it wasn't wasteful in any way just because he used it early. It doesn't feel rushed. It was still used in a strong way, giving him the advantage in that duel.
Yeah, you know, honestly, absolutely. One thing that I learned, you know, about cooldowns is like, you know, they're long cooldowns because they don't want you using them much, right? But if you never use it, then it's never going to go on cooldown. And, you know, one thing that you kind of learn how to do is just, you know, like if you see a good opportunity, you're like, oh man, if I just prep Vanish cheap shot, I can kill this guy. Do it. You know, you got the kill. That's what the cooldown is for. And the fact that Kargaz is able to recognize that and find these opportunities and just use it when it's available, you know, it's not easy to learn, you know, to do that at first, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you can use a big cooldown like right at the start of the duel just to secure the win, that's definitely worth it compared to trying to use it when you're in trouble towards the end of a duel. You might just lose anyway, and then it's a complete waste of that cooldown.
So we're seeing a cloaking device and a shadow reflector from the Shaman here. Yeah, that's bold. The cloaking device might be hard to pull off when you're gonna likely have dots on you, but yeah, I'd like to see it. I always respect a fancy play when it comes to the cloaking devices. When you see him and it's done right, there's nothing better than that. So we'll see if he can pull something off. It might be hard to versus a class that has dots on you. But he still has that shadow reflector in his back pocket as well. Pops it right away. He's not even hesitating. Kargaz trying to time the fear out potentially here. But honestly, did not get value from the shadow reflector.
You know, it seemed like Goodman was just popping it there to try and create some space for himself so he could be able to get a couple of casts off here, which he is actually successfully doing here. He is going to be able to land here the grenade. He's going to be able to channel off a lightning bolt, what it looks like here. And instead, now Kargaz is going to try and channel fear. It is going to get Earth Shock here, and the stop actually is doing work onto him, and it looks like Good Mood
Scuff that shit, dude.
The duel here with
God
that
damn
use
it.
of the shadow reflector, get that curse back and taking.
Fucking tongues myself. He just reflected off the bat.
It kind of seemed like it was a little bit too overzealous of a play here, but the fact that he did that, you know, and was able to get the curse
She's not gonna have
back
reflected for the next fucking.
Kargaz here, you know, kind of forced
I
Kargaz
tongues
to,
myself,
you know,
dude.
pick
Fuck,
between
man.
going for a fear or going for a shadow ward, or
That was so
going
scuffed.
for a death coil, or you know, or going for a shadow ward here. I kind of actually put him in, like, you know, a little bit of a precarious spot. You know, it also gave Good Mood a good, you know, about 5 seconds of some free cast time to where Kargaz really wasn't able to interrupt him.
I'm surprised it went as well as he did. Honestly, it felt, and maybe it goes to what we were saying earlier. You know, just use those cooldowns, use that 5 seconds of safety. He's not going for the fancy death coil reflect. He's not going for the fancy timed fear reflect. He's just going for the safety net play, where he's able to function at full capacity without being interrupted for the 5-second window, where he, you know, can reflect any source of shadow damage. Didn't think it would go as well as it did for him, honestly.
Yeah, the way this matchup usually goes is the Shaman's typically able to get a lot of pressure right off the start with their grounding totem, earth shocks, and the Warlock's just trying to kill all the totems before they can get control of the duel. But using that Shadow Reflector gave him enough pressure that Kargaz could never really grasp control, and he just got to 0%.
Yeah. Well played on his part.
Yeah, I mean, when doing these duel tournaments, yeah, that's actually something I really realized with the reflectors, right? It's not necessarily always about getting these huge plays off. So much it is just giving yourself some time, especially against the Warlock here, where they're so squishy that if you're given 5 seconds, of damage onto a Warlock, you're able to do so much that it can create these really uncomfortable positions where it forces a misplay out of the Warlock, and you're able to take these duels here. Obviously Goodwood here going to try and utilize as much of this refractory period as possible, because he really needs these Shadow Reflectors here against Kargaz if he's going to be able to take this series here. So very wonderfully played from Goodwood. I'd like to see some more interesting use use of abilities and see how that's able to go for him. Hopefully here in this next duel, maybe he can go for a Rocket Helm play and create some space that way.
I like he switched to the Prism Charm Trinket on use resistance for 30 seconds. Very interesting. If we see a resisted fear, oh man, that'll be fucking spectacular to see him put that into effect. I'll have to keep an eye on that.
All right, and it looks like here duel number 3 underway here. It looks like Mythical Dragonlance here can be popped right at the start here by Kargaz. Kargaz actually going to be able to get this Death Coil off here. It looks like he's going to be able to get this Fear. No, it is going to get shocked here instead, and it's actually an emulation shock, so Kargaz actually shooting himself a little bit here. But the dude on the back foot here, he has a lot of damage wailing on him, and these dots are taken away. And this Curse of Agony, or Curse of Tongues rather, is really putting in work here. It's forcing a long time on his cast here. He's going to finally be able to get this Lesser Healing Wave off, and he's going to try and go for another one here, protected by his Grounding Totem here. Kargaz going to try to start spamming these Fears here, be able to get it off finally here through the Grounding Totem here, and now he's going to be able to replace these dots here. And it looks like Kargaz here is honestly on the forefront of this duel here. He's still at about 50% mana. Goodwood down to about 30% health, unfortunately for himself, though. He's going to be... No, he's not. He's going to get counterspelled here, and it looks like this duel is all but over.
Yeah. It looked in the beginning of that fight like might have been going the Shaman's way. There wasn't a lot of damage going out on him, partially because that Curse of Tongues was that quickly shifted in Kargaz's favor, especially when that Agony really started to do damage. And that Shaman can't do Curse. I think that's one of the weaknesses in this particular matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can, cure diseases, which in later patches has a lot more value, but at least in vanilla, as a shaman, being able to cure disease really has no effect.
Appreciate it, Murderer.
Even cure poison doesn't
Appreciate it,
have
guys.
too much value.
Yeah, I'm a little bit rusty, man. I haven't
going
been playing
against
too much
rogue,
recently.
cure poisons doesn't do too much. But
Just trying to hold my own, man.
It specifically does nothing unless you're going against an Undead Shadow Priest. That's the only disease that a player can cast at this point in the game.
I gotta say, Goodwood has been one of the most creative players I've seen so far in these tournaments, so we'll see if he can come up with something big here, or is this one already...
No, this is... Yeah, Kargaz is at match point here. Goodwood is was able to take game number 2 here between the two of them, and now Kargaz obviously again on the forefront here. Goodwood obviously just again, he's going to try and take as much time as possible here with this refractory period so he can get those Shadow Reflectors up, and maybe he can at least bring this to a duel number 5 here between the two of them. I do want to see some more intricate, maybe a little bit more creative ideas for Goodwood here. He still has his Rocket Helm available to him, and like we were saying earlier, you just want to use that cooldown, and the fact that he still has not really speaks volumes for what we were saying about how Kargaz was able to find those that avenue.
Need some encouragement.
Kargas here going to be on the forefront of this villager. He's actually going to be able to get all these dots up here. His Crimson Tongues is wailing away at him. Kriegum, his Fell Hunter pet, is just smacking him down, and this fear is just lasting forever here. That's actually going to be able to take around 40% of his health in total in this fear here. I mean, you know, at this point now he's just trying to drown himself. And it looks like it's...
I think he's gonna have to. He's gonna flee. Like, that was the worst possible way to get feared. There's no way.
Oh man.
I think
Looks
yeah.
like
That was the triple fear, baby. Oh my goodness. Running straight out the arena, right into the water. Needed that water walk and get up on that water. Water walk your ass right back to shore. Oh man, I don't even think that would have done it.
All right, well, let's try that again. Hopefully Good Moon doesn't get feared for the full 30 seconds and then tries to drown himself at the end. That was insane. He got feared to the tree and then into the water, into the lake.
To Narnia and back.
I feel like we could just have an episode, you know, the journeys of Good Mood getting feared.
Take him all over Mooglor here.
Oh man. You know, just this last weekend, you ever do this where you like you have everything already in your mind, you know, and you put all your stuff, you put it in your backpack, and then you head out, and then you forget your backpack with all your stuff that you plan to take.
Hey, Cargos. Do we want to redo that duel since you got like fucking mongoloided it into the...
I mean, I'm happy to, bro. I'm just here to have fun, bro. I do think that should, for future though, that probably should count. Just because, you know, I don't know, you're just so miles ahead at that point. Like, he could have just been feared standing still the whole time. He was just like CC'd the whole time. Like his location didn't matter maybe as much as one might think because he was so behind as far as health and everything. But happy to redo it. Yeah, let's do it again.
This is true. Let's do it again.
Yeah, Cargos is confident here. He knows he can probably just take the next one easy. In the future, we probably should clarify more in the rules about those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to make a rule for that because that is like an odd situation. But when it does occur, obviously it's unfair for both players, right?
Yeah, I think
being
this close to the water as well can cause some issues because you swim slower, so it's harder to get back in the duel rate.
Yeah. Alright, but now here it looks like Good Mood. He's actually going to be able to get the Shadow Reflector off. He's going to be able to hit here, the Pent here with his Goblin Rock Knell, but he is going to get immediately Death Gold here. Storm Totem is going to be able to get sapped here by Kargas. Kargas actually now going to be put here onto the back foot. He's going to be able to get this Fear off is what it looks like here as this Chain Lightning lands, but no, it looks like it's going to get resisted here from Good Mood. Good Mood going to be put here a huge forefront of distance for himself here between Kargas. Kargas now to get the spell, he's going to get Frost Shock and Feared. That's what it looks like here from Good Mood. He's going to be able to get it off here. No, it's not. He is going to try and bandage up and try and create some space for himself, but no, Good Mood's going to be able to take it here to game number 5. Beautifully played from Good Mood.
So aggressive. I love the aggression coming out from the shaman with the shocks and the pokes and the shocks and the pokes. And the Nature Swift with Chain Lightning. It's good to see. Even though he did get the, there was no substantial reflections. It came down to potentially even like once again he kind of did that whole like safety net thing where he just popped it, or he was just safe for that duration, didn't reflect anything fancy. Perhaps that's just going to be the way to go. Give him that 5 seconds or so to just free cast and pump out damage or close distance.
Yeah, again,
I think I'll be able to get him on this next one. He doesn't have
a
reflector.
a lot of different things other than just money. Giving yourself time allows you the space you need to be able to create these pressure and get these dual victories off that Goodwin very clearly needs. And he was able to use his Goblin Rocket Helmet, I think, to great effect here. So very, very beautifully done here from Goodwood here, and Kriegum, the Fellhunter pet obviously just getting completely out of commission for what looked like the entirety of that duel. It looked like the duel had ended before that rocket helmet ended for him. So good use of his long cooldowns here to be able to at least bring it to number 5. Looks like some dude just got real lucky with a freezing ban. So congrats to that guy. Posting. Yeah, I'd really like to see some other clever plays that Goodwood has, because he's always had such creative and interesting ideas with that weird kind of tri-spec enhancement shaman build that he was doing with the Alcor Sunraiser with the plus 30 spell power on it, which I think he's still got equipped. Yeah, he does. And he has the Glimmering Insignia here available to him here for this final duel. Is what it looks like. So I'd like to see him use that to hopefully some great effect here. He is trying to, again, milk all these cooldowns for as long as possible because he does have access to it here with this refractory period. So duel number 5 here between Kargaz and Goodwood is going to be very interesting. It looks like Kargaz here is going to have to find some more clever ways to create some space here for himself, just because Goodwood is going to have what looks like about 30 seconds of some free time to really close the gap in terms of life totals and just straight up distance between the two players. So now Goodwood here just again setting up for this last duel here. Looks like the flag is about to drop here. I'm really excited to see what happens, and here it comes. Duel number 5 between these two players. Both players have played very incredibly well. I'd like to see who is going to be able to take it out here on top.
Yeah, you like to see when games go to 5 matches. That's always nice. Duel has started. The Shaman might just honestly kill the pet. You gotta watch out though, because it does have that extra resistance. That is a problem. Like, look at how that pet's probably damn near sturdier than our Warlock friend here. The spells, the few that he had thrown at it, did almost nothing to it. Just between the dots and the pet, it's done more to the Shaman than the pet. Kargaz is kind of cycling the dots on him right now. Puts the Death Coil out. It is going to connect. Allows him to get that fear off. There's fear number 1. Puts down fear number 2 as well. Needs to try to kill that. Oh, that was beautiful. He knew the Tremor Totem was going to break him out, so he put 2 fears down. Shaman's trying to heal himself back up. Does get the War Stomp out and some pokies, but he needs a heal, and he's not going to get it off. Kargaz is going to win that duel and go on to the next round.
Yeah, very, very beautifully played from both players there. I really want to commend Kargaz for coming up again, just using those cooldowns just to be able to get those victories, those early victories, and really, set the tempo. Because it does, what thing you don't really think about at least as a tournament duelist, until you get into those duels, is when somebody has those victories on you, right? When somebody's 2-up, 2-0 against you, it's a lot of mental pressure, and then when you get that first win, you kind of feel like a little bit more smooth, and you're like, okay, I can do this. But going up against a player who's 1-0 against you and then 2-0 against you, it creates a lot of mental pressure. It's not a physical pressure, but you really feel it within the tournament setting. So.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. It's a mind game. When we play with ourselves, really.
It's true, yeah. But it's really, really important, to think about those kinds of things as a player, to just try and keep yourself level-headed and just, keep yourself removed and understand it, especially against really, really, tough opponents like Funky Pot and Kargaz and Sheltzo. just to maintain your calm. You know, just because they've won these tournaments before in the past, it doesn't mean that you're worse than them or they are better than you. It just means that they've won it in the past, and that doesn't necessarily, you know, mean anything, depending on the player. So, you know, it's I don't know. I feel like it's something that's not really talked about often enough, and I just want to, you know, I really do want to bring that to light at least a little bit. You know, being able to get those early wins really does set the tempo and the pace for these tournaments.
Yeah, we got to give props to Good Mood here, being so creative. I think he tried to use the gnomish cloaking device like a vanish, but unfortunately doesn't work quite the same. So the death coil just went right through it and took him out of invis. But we really got to give him props. He's representing the shaman class and showing some of the possibilities with the creativity that he has.
We have Shelto missing in action. I don't know where he is. He's supposed to be doing Nismo right now.
I am posting in raid. If he does not respond in the next 5 minutes, we will just drop him from.
Powered by pumpkin spice. Hell yeah, murderer. You already know, dude.
He is not responding, and I would just.
Today we're drinking some Rolling Rock Extra Pale.
Going, so.
What are you guys drinking?
Move on to the.
Anybody alive out there?
And come back.
Sorry, I'm not interacting too much with the stream. I just feel like we have like better commentators than me talking, so might as well not ruin their content. You know what they're saying.
Let's move on to Pobus and Defunct then.
All right. So next up here, guys, is
you drinking Stouts, brother? Hell yeah.
Mage versus Funky Pot Warlock. And if you guys were here earlier, tuned in earlier,
this is going to be a really good duel. Pobus is an excellent mage. He is an excellent mage.
Mage matchup
Big pumper mage in Invictus.
Very heavily Warlock favored matchup
versus Funky Pot, probably the number one player here. Like
almost all of the innate tools to beat Warlock. So it's a very hard skill matchup for the Warlock.
These two dudes.
For the mage, but even then. If you're facing somebody of equal skill level to you, it's you know 7 times out of 10 at least, it's going to be the Warlock's victory.
Dude,
yeah, and it feels
I'm
like
rooting for Pobus here. I'm not gonna lie. He's a guildie. He's an excellent mage player. He is the underdog in this matchup. Funky Pot. I'm hoping he loses. So I don't. If I fight Funky Pot, I will lose. 100%. My spec right now is very shard light. I don't use many shards as a drain spec. I don't have Shadow Burn. Also, he's undead and he has Toep. I don't have Toep. And he has better gear. I'm not making excuses. He's just a better player than me, too. Like, he has more experience than me. He's been playing Warlock for longer. I concede that he's a better player, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, you know, it'll be a fucking landslide if I have to fight him. So I'm hoping Pobus kills him here.
Really goes so far.
The only reason I won the last duel tournament, honestly, is because he got eliminated by Dextros.
They don't really need
because if this dude makes it to the end, dude, I lose.
The damage that they have in their kit. They just need health, right, to be able to survive and let their damage do its job, really, at least for, you know, in these 1v1s. So, you know, when they get these extra, this extra spell power to be able to enhance.
What's up, Marshall? You applied and got turned down? I'm sorry, bro. I'm not doing apps or whatever. It's a big guild, bro. Like, honestly, I don't think it's clicky, though, Marshall. If you ask anybody who's in the guild right now, it's not.
The Warlock class just.
It's not really clicky. I don't feel so, at least. I mean, we have our different raid groups, right?
So now here in duel number 1 here, it looks like Funky Pot's actually going to get huge silenced on.
Huge damage on Warlock.
Wow. Actually going to create some huge pressure here on the Funky Pot. Funky Pot actually still seems like he's a little bit favored here. He's going to be able to get this Halter off. This
Pobus, so much damage, dude.
Pobus going to get full dotted up, and now he's going to get Death Bolt here. It looks like he's just going to get chained into it. The Shadow Bolt here. No, he's going to ice block it off. This beautiful ice block from Pobus. Pobus going to be able to try and close some distance here. He's going to sheep onto Defunct to try and get this Cone of Cold off. And instead now, he's going to decurse himself. He's going to try and create some distance here with this grenade so he can try and channel.
Yo, Pobus is a fucking god, dude. I swear, bro. There's the Arena Grand Master.
All these dots kicking and wearing away at him.
Please, Pobus, win. Please, Pobus. Oh, Spellstone, no.
Using this Spellstone finally, as Pobus uses his Cold Snap ice
dude,
block again, but this duel is all but over here.
That's as much pressure as you can apply on a mage.
Now he's just going to continue to dispel Pobus. Pobus is going to get this corruption here onto him, and it looks like it's just all but over here as this corruption is going to take.
That's as much pressure as you can apply as a mage, dude.
That one really well. was getting very aggressive.
I gotta chime in, dude. Pobus is a beast, man. He, like, I don't know. That's as much pressure as you can apply as a mage. That was insane. Man. I feel for him there. Like, that he just played so aggressively as that mage right there, man. Doing everything he could to make it work. And then just the stabilization from the Warlock with the Spellstone, the coil. There's just so much gas in the tank on the Warlock. It's got to be frustrating to play against.
100% agree. Because I don't really have a critique for him there. I felt like he played really well. It felt like he even could have won that. Like, it was close, but as soon as that Spellstone came out, that's when you knew it was a nail in the coffin. Like, you felt for him at that point.
My thing is this: he snapped and blocked too, right? Like, at that point, it almost felt like the tides had turned. He had reached that stabilization point, and it was looking unlikely that he was going to be able to close it out. Do you just save the snap block? Because now he's going to be playing with no snap block, right, in this next duel. Or wait, no. We'll give me. But I mean, but maybe you still snap anyway, so you can block because regular block's going to be on cooldown. Maybe he could wait 3 minutes, right? Yeah.
He used his cold snap.
Yeah, he did, right? He blew everything, right? I mean, he used. So now he's going to have. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is now this duel he may not even have block up until the tail end of the duel, right? Because he's used both. Okay, that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge.
Sometimes that's hard to not pull the finger off the trigger. Like you're in the heat of the moment. And you're like, I gotta win this one, and that cooldowns are blown. And I think that's what makes some of these, or this style of tournament, interesting. Is you have to see these guys use these cooldowns with the mindset, hey, I won't have it next one if I use it this one.
Yeah, it definitely changes, you know what I mean? It changes the way that you use your cooldowns too, because, you know, sometimes players like, like Goodmood want to save their big 30-minute cooldowns for when they're on the back foot. But, you know, honestly, I feel like using your abilities aggressively rather than defensively honestly has a lot more merit, at least most of the time. But now here, Pobus obviously going to try and get this soft reset here on the Funky Pot. Funky Pot obviously going to be dispelling it as soon as he possibly can. But Spell Hunter Pet just wailing away, trying to, regenning as much health as he possibly can here just by eating all the debuffs here from Pobus. But Pobus now is actually going to finally be able to kill the Spell Hunter Pet here. And now he's going to get Death Coiled here and emulated here. It looks like it's all but over here. He doesn't have his Ice Block available to him. The Shadowbird's going to do so much damage. His health and his dots are just wearing away at him. It's just not enough in the tank to be able to take on the Warlock.
He keeps using his shit right at the very end, dude. He used this medicine pouch there, and oh man.
I saw that too, and
yeah.
that might not be up here when he needs it next one now.
That's what I'm saying. Can you dispel? Is it a magical? I wonder if the Fell Hunter could dispel that. I don't think so. I mean, maybe. You think it's a magical like buff thing that it applies to you, medicine pouch? I don't know.
I don't believe it's magical. I don't think it can be dispelled, at least from I haven't seen the interaction enough on the classic servers, but I know that wasn't the case prior on Henhouse and otherwise.
Yeah.
I can't speak. We're gonna have to try that out. Perhaps we'll be able to finagle a dispel class furball user here. But yeah, honestly, something to comment on too. He killed the pet that one, which I'm surprised he was even able to because of the resistance that pet has. But is that just too much? Are you committing too much to the pet? I generally have always liked those plays when you're able to pull it off and then like kind of like reset and you don't have this pet beating on you. But
that is OG Jeffrey. Yes, Kulak, the man himself.
You kill that pet. In this case, that answer is no.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he just, petered out. He was able to create some pressure there, and then once Funky Pot was able to get that Death Coil off, it just completely swung the duel right back into his favor. Killing the Fell Hunter seemed like such a big step, but really in the end, the Warlock still just has so much pressure by himself that having access to that Fell Hunter on top of it really just it just feels like such a mountain to climb.
Two-0 Defunct, man. It's looking like Defunct's gonna freaking do Funky Pot things, man.
Well, it looks like this final duel here is likely to be underway here. Funky Pot here, obviously on match point here, 2-0. And Pobus obviously probably feeling the pressure here. He's kind of probably feeling a little bit hopeless even, just because of how dominant Funky Pot has been in these 2 victories here. Pobus here in duel number 1 was able to create so much pressure here for Funky Pot, but every time Pobus was able to potentially put that nail into the coffin, Funky Pot always had an answer to say no. And so, here in duel number 2, Pobus tried to come up here with a different strategy and kill the Fell Hunter, but even that had no avail to him. So now he's going here for a third option here with this Smolderweb's dot here that he's going here onto Funky Pot with, and this dot's going to tick away. The Scorch is going to be able to tick off here. It looks like
Ooh, reflected coil?
From
what was there, a Nightfall?
Pobus, so much is going on here. It's really hard to keep track of it all.
Reflector's sweet.
This Death Coil is going to be able to land back here onto Pobus, but Pobus is going to immediately ice block it off. He's going to be able to get this Frost over off here. He's going to get this code called off here, but onto Funky Pot. Funky Pot
Defunct solo.
So much space and pressure here from himself and Pobus. Pobus is going to be able to try and do what he can to answer this, but these dots are taken away at him, and this first aid's coming here off.
Too much, man.
Funky Pot, but no. It's too late for Pobus to be able to come back, and there's nothing he could do.
Defunct got the fear off, the spellstone, and bandaged him up, and he didn't even need to. In that time, Mage was dwindled down by those dots. The agony, doing quite a bit with being able to tick up. You don't go through that whole duration. Just too much damage. It's a time thing. The longer that fight lasts, the better off that Warlock is.
Yeah, I mean it happens here. It's just sometimes you get a bad matchup, and honestly, in these duel tournaments, often what it comes down to is how lucky are you with your brackets. For the Mage, the one thing you can't go against really is a Warlock, and for a Warlock, the one thing you can't go against is a Warlock. So basically, just be a
Sounds about right, dude. Sounds about right.
All right, but now it looks like here what we're gonna have is Nismo versus Kraz's, or is that already?
She also knocked one of them out, right?
Kraz's got knocked out, right?
Yeah, but now Sheltzo's gone.
So it should be Sheltzo versus me, right? And then the winner of that fights Funky Pot.
Sheltzo is not here, so...
Okay, so it's Nismo versus Karkov.
Okay. Nismo, where's my man Nismo at?
Mage versus Warlock. And if you guys haven't already heard this yet, it is very Warlock favored. But maybe Nismo here has some creative tools that we haven't really thought of yet that will maybe break open the whole meta, and he'll be able to take this this duel here between the two of them. I'd be really interested to see how Nismo's going to be able to play this matchup here. But honestly, again, the Warlock just has so many tools in its kit to beat other casters. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, Nismo has pretty good gear here, a good amount of stamina. Shadow Reflector, could put that to good use. So it's not, it's not over before it started. He does have a chance here.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to pop this Fireward here, just to be able to give himself a little bit of extra health here. But instead, now Karka's going to immediately use Rocket Helm here. Somehow it's going to be able to be taken off here from Nismo. Nismo's going to get immediately countered off here. Karka's here still. Frost over here. He's going to be able to do what he can here. It looks like a Health Stone was just popped here. Maybe it was a Life Stone, but instead, now he's going to go for this Death Bow here. He's going to immediately, this Forsaken here. Nismo obviously not going to be able to apply as much pressure as you'd like to here onto Karkas. Karkas on this forefront of this. He's got 80% health left. He's going to get counterspelled here, and it looks like it's Shadow Swoon's argument not reflected here, but now Shadow Spells are back up. He's going to get through here. There's no Will of Thick to be able to help him here. These dots are going to be able to full tick here onto him, and this pet is just dispelling him. It's silencing him. These dots are wearing away at him, and it just looks like this duel is over.
And Nismo didn't get very good use out of that ice block there. He removed all the dots, but he could have definitely prevented like the Death Coil or the Immolate upfront damage or something else other than just clearing.
Yeah, I mean, being able to clear dots is definitely really helpful, but you know, there's definitely more things that you can do with a cooldown like that, to where you can use it inside CCs and such like that. So you know, if Kargas had those dots available on him and he was able to get those death call off and being able to prevent something like that, might be able to be enough to change the duel here. But with the spec that Kargas is, and the fact that he has this extra 6 resistances, just makes it that much more difficult for Nismo to break through this wall. Honestly, I'd like to see Kargas continue to play that he's continue to play the way that he's been playing here. It looks like Nismo is just searching for a way in onto this duel, you know, into the series here between him and Kargas here. Nismo was really able to create a lot of pressure here here onto Kargas, and so because of that, Kargas was really just kind of almost face tanking it all and just drain tanking almost all of it, everything that Nismo had into his toolkit. And it looks like that Lifestone was definitely more than enough to be able to sustain through the pressure that Nismo was placing.
Yeah, here's that Furball medicine pouch, so he's ready to try to sustain for some of this damage. I like that, just being equipped right off the bat. You know you're going to be taking that damage. You might as well pop that as soon as you can. Perhaps equip your other offhand after you get that full value. But it's always nice to see that being used. Every class can really use that too. It's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that, yeah, you know, honestly, you know, I feel like we've had a lot. This is the third one tonight, and second one back to back. It's you know, we're kind of milking, you know, a dead horse here, or, you know, beating a dead horse here in the sense that the Warlock is just so significantly favored. You know, we're trying to think of ways that, you know, at least within the Mage's toolkit, that they could find an answer to what the Warlock is doing. And obviously a couple of Mages have figured out how to do so, but at the top, you know, at the upper tiers of players, it's you know, these answers become, you know, smaller and smaller, to the point where there's really nothing that we can think about in terms of just, you know, really clever in-game mechanics to be able to take these duels here. I don't know if Nismo had already used his Shadow Reflector in the last duel, but hopefully he can find a good use for it here in duel number 2 here. So it looks like Kargas here just going to immediately start off here with the Barrage Heavy Trinket into it, a blanket silence here, forcing the Lilith to take it immediately onto Nismo. Nismo's going to be able to put it down to about 70% health here, 60% health almost, and instead Kargas is just going to use his Spellstone and his Steel here, and now it looks like it's just all but over here as Nismo has these dots wailing away at him. He's going to be able to just kind of go off, it looks like, and now Kargas here going to be put on the back, laid off, however, and Nismo down to about 40% health, or 53% health. He's going to be able to get this Frost Nova off. It is going to be able to shatter combo here with this Cone of Cold. The Sphere is going to be able to land here because this Blank Science is going to be able to go off here. And now Nismo has no one taken available to him. He's going to pop this Medicine Pouch, but it looks like it's too little too late. Too many dots are wailing away at him. He's going to have to find an answer to this soon, because it looks like this duel is all but over. Because Kargas is still at 95% health. Nismo's down to about 15, 23% health, 17% health, and fallen quick, as Kargas still at around 80% health comfortably here. He is going to use his Gnomish Death Ray, but instead it's just going to kill him.
That spell isn't ready yet.
And again, it's just so difficult for the Mage, because the Warlock has access to the Spellstone. They have effectively an extra 1500 health against a Mage, and on top of that, they already have the Health Stone, which gives them about another 1200 health. So, you know, on top of the 4.6k health that Kargas has, you know, he gets an extra almost 3k health, and it's, you know, how do you come back from a guy who has more than twice your health total?
Why do you start with Goblin Helm if Pet is on aggressive? No, you're right. The Pet wasn't supposed to be on aggressive. That was a misplay.
They can't really,
But
you know,
that's why that
that
answers your question.
They could reset.
It's supposed to be on passive.
So my thing is maybe you Rocket Helmet, the Pet, maybe then go for the Warlock, perhaps get him out of the game. Then you're maybe able to reset. Maybe you need to wait until you need to reset, then you Rocket Helmet the Fell Hunter and sheep the Warlock. That might be like one way to win one of your duels with the Rocket Helm.
Well, it's looking like I'm gonna lose, guys. I'm playing a Warlock that's more experienced than me, better gear than me, undead with toe up, but I'm gonna give it my best shot, man.
Keep interrupting him even if they somehow get the sheep off.
Big fucking.
If you can figure out how to get a reset off,
big funky pot, man.
Yeah, and I mean that alone isn't even an easy feat. So, you know, there's one more duel left in the tank of Nismo, as Kargaz here is likely going to be moving here on.
Oh, I have another one.
Between him and Funky Pot is what it looks like. And
okay.
Although it was relatively small bracket today, you know, the players that showed up today are. I want to say some of the better players that we've seen here at these dual tournaments. So it was really exciting to have these players stop by and participate. Hopefully the next one that we have, we can get Dextros as well as Muddy and maybe Milksteak Law as well to be able to participate in this tournament here.
Oh, that'd be nice to see Milksteak play.
Yeah. He's a good dude. I like him a lot. All right, and now the flag has dropped between both players, and it looks like it's just about to be underway. Would like to see, hopefully, Nismo take one game off here. Maybe he can find some clever mechanics that we were talking about. Figure out maybe that he needs to save his ice block for an important reset, be able to pair it up here with the Rocket Helm onto the Felhunter Pet, and maybe he can do something with that. But for now, it looks like Kargot's just trying to create as much height as possible. He's going to be able to immediately death well in this boat here. He's just going to ice block it off here. He doesn't have the Will of Forsaken available to him, is what it looks like. But now he's going to get feared here. The Will of Forsaken is actually going to be up, and it is going to be available to him. He's going to pop this now. He's just going to try and start casting this here. He's actually going to counter it and fake cast it here. It's not going to go off here. Kargot still at about 90% health here. His spell so is doing so much work. It's creating so much space for him and Nismo. Nismo's going to get feared here. He no longer has the Will of Forsaken here available to him. But this Barrage Family Trinket is winning away at him. Nismo down to about 40% health, 45% health rather. He's going to be able to get a Cone of Cold off here. He's going to get like a Silent Sage Tool of Fear now. And at this point in time, I want to say that it's Kargot's game to win. Nismo down to about 4% health and full dots on him. And Kargot's going to the finals. 3-0.
We got a Warlock versus Warlock Finals, baby. Let's go. It's I don't think there was much this one.
You think with phase 2 coming out though, what you think it's gonna affect it a little bit?
It might.
The gear and stuff like that. You know, everyone getting trinkets and stuff. You know, we're probably gonna see less Warlocks to some capacity. However impactful it is, much more people having a fear break. So
I think that'll help. Yeah, everybody's gonna feel themselves getting a little sturdier too, which will be nice with that PvP gear coming out.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
might help as well.
Definitely. Alright, Defunct. Fucking be gentle, dude.
Good luck, man. This is a week 1 rematch.
Yeah, same to you, bro.
Yeah, I will say, while this is a Warlock versus Warlock, it's not very symmetrical at all, because we're 2 different specs, 2 different races, different gear, different gadgets and equipment, so it should be interesting. And may the best.
Hell yeah, man.
My mic focus. So.
Should be as good as I can be.
Alright. And now the dual flag is about to drop between these players. So I think the key things to watch out here for are going to be the Rocket Helms as well as these Death Coils here. They're really going to be able to change the matchup. Maybe also the Spell Stones here between the 2 players. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. A lot of mirror matchups, in my opinion, are surprisingly fun to watch, just because both players are usually very evenly matched up. Especially because the skill set is usually, the exact same. So it's really about each player's decision making as well as their talent choices. So here we go, duel number 1 underway. Funky Pot could be putting full dots here up onto Kargaz here. That's what it looks like. It's going to be Siphon Life, Corruption, and Curse of Agony, as well as the Simulate down finally coming up here. Kargaz, though, not using his Spellstone as of yet. These dots have finally ticked away at him. He's actually going to get Death Roll here into what looks like a Fear. The Fear is actually going to get resisted here. He's going to try and get himself another one up available, and he's going to be able to get it up here. Is Funky Pop going to get this Ignite and Simulate off. The Shadowbrand's going to tick here right as the Spellstone comes off here. But Kargaz, it looks like he's just too little too late with the Spellstone here. He's immediately on the back of here. However, Funky Pot completely doomed. He is going to get feared here, but these dots just going to tick away and going to be able to get himself one.
Yeah, one thing to note here too is Will the Forsaken available for Defunct, going to give him that potential advantage in the Warlock matchup. Now that being said, Kargaz might resist the right grenade, and the same can be said for him. But you generally Will the Forsaken is going to be give you a little more value.
Yeah, I mean, Will of the Forsaken is such an interesting ability because it also is able to clear charms. So if for whatever reason the Warlock, decided to opt in for Succubus, it would just it also wouldn't be a good idea, just specifically because the Will of the Forsaken also surprisingly counters that. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the only ability that removes charm effects. So, honestly, I'm not sure. I still don't know which one's better because the 5% pet damage I feel like is actually very relevant in PvP. Doing an extra 5 damage, an extra or 10, 20 times is almost an extra 100 damage. So,
I agree. It really isn't bad.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Trying to inspect both of these players. I want to say Funky Pot's slightly more favored just because I feel like the Undead Toolkit is just better in this 1v1 matchup. But overall, I think Orc is slightly better. I know that Funky Pot plans on ranking by himself for the most part, so to me it makes sense that he's just going for as much sort of solo survivability as possible. And so now here, duel number 2 here, Funky Pot's just trying to get this Banish off while he can. And now Kargaz going to be able to get these full dots off on him. Funky Pot's forced to use his Spellstone here. And now this Curse of Agony is taken away at him. Full dots going to be able to be placed here onto Kargaz. Kargaz now having this pressure being placed on him. He is going to get this Banish off immediately on that. Death Coil is going to get resisted here is what it looks like. Pot's going to be able to get this Fear off though. And now this pet is free to roam. It's going to be able to dispel the Fear though onto Kargaz. Kargaz is going to be dotted up here with this Corruption. Curse of Agony still on him, or sorry, Curse of Tongues rather, slowing down his spell cast, making it a little bit more difficult to find the spells. So finally going to land here from down to about 4% health.
Holy shit, dude, how the fuck did I get that one?
Very impactful.
That's crazy.
Death Coil, dots ticking away the whole time, able to banish Defunct's pet as well at the end there, helping him secure the win. Yeah, good duel.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting to watch both of these play styles, right? Funky Pot's going for this very slow, methodical kind of control style, where Kargaz is just trying to be a big old bully, kind of like an orc, just like this big brute kind of character, just trying to out pressure you at all 4 fronts of the duelers. Funky Pot, just kind of playing this a little bit more sleek, almost style of play, where he's trying to save his cooldowns for these big moments that kind of catch you off guard, and oftentimes, they really are able to catch you off guard. And so, Kargaz just using this brute force strategy to be able to take game number 2 here. Really, really clean play from both players, and I like to see these kind of subtle nuances that over a series really able to flush out, I guess.
Yeah, I like when the mere matchups have different specs. Playstyle spice it up a little bit. It's nice. We've been seeing Fell Hunter the whole tournament. We haven't seen anything besides. There's been a lot of casters they've been fighting though.
It's true. I mean, we have had 3 Mage versus Warlock matchups, and I think we only had 3 Warlocks. So every Warlock fought a Mage. Makes sense though, right? Well, that's why they always have the Fell Hunter out. And I mean, honestly, for the most part, the Fell Hunter is the most useful pet, right? It gives you access to Paranoia, which helps you in the rogue matchup. It's absolutely abhorrent in any spellcaster matchup. You know, here we are in the finals. Both players are warlocks and both players are spellcasters. So. Funkybot actually going to preempt the Amplifying Curse before the duel starts here as this flag comes down between both players. So looks like he is going to get blanket silence here as Argos is going to get blanket silence as well. The Curse of Agony is going to be able to come off here. It is an improved Curse of Agony. The second life is going to land here. Double Curse of Agony actually now being placed onto Kargos. Did not know that actually was its own curse. It's very interesting to find out now. Kargos actually going to get death throw up here. He is going to get fully dotted up here by Kargos. Funkybot now to use his spellstone here. He is actually going to try and juke the counter spell, what it looks like here. But now Kargos just has so much health. All these dots are taken away at him, but it's just not doing enough. And now the spellstone is finally going to come off here as Funkybot is full feared. These dots are just wearing away at him. He's going down so low, but this health zone is going to be able to crit here as what?
Oh no, no. Two banishes resistant. Oh, you hate to see it. That pet's resistance really shining through here. The two full casts of banish might have made all the difference here.
No, dude.
Feels bad, man.
Fuck,
tier
man.
1 coming through clutch.
I should have put up Burst of Shadows first.
Yeah, absolutely.
God damn it. I think I blew my load there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult.
I shouldn't have banished him. I think I had him right, chat. I had him right, chat.
It feels like you're just so further behind, or so far behind, rather. And you just really can't do much to come back from these.
I think I had that one, dude.
You know, Funkybot was able to create so much pressure to start that fight off that even through those resists and this fight or flight moment, he was able to clutch it out there. I think I think Funkybot had 10% health left. I don't know. He was pretty close though.
After first resist, you shouldn't have tried again, yeah.
I would like to see a little bit more creativity of from both of these players. Because it seems like both of these players have their play style, and you know, it is working for them. But I feel like both of these, you know, respectively, both players also know what the other player is trying to attempt. So they're just attempting their strategies, and you know, whichever one gets the RNG in their favor is able to take these victories. But I feel like there could be more done. You know, I feel like there's a little bit more creative play style. You just change up and maybe put a shadow reflector on and pop it at a weird moment to throw off the other warlock.
Yeah, it would. You know, it'd be nice to see a reflection play. We've seen pretty projected death coils where they've flown a pretty big distance that would allow you to kind of reactively press the shadow reflect versus anticipating, which, you know, so it'd be nice to see a reflection play. I agree with that for sure. I think we've seen one blacksmith tonight, but I don't even know. I don't think we saw a good effect of that trinket. I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. This would be the time we'd see it, if ever, though, because I feel like once the phase 2's out, we do have those PvP trinkets. It's gonna feel less impactful than it would have otherwise, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't know specifically, because Good Mood was the one who had the blacksmithing trinket, so I don't know specifically if a shaman can cleanse a fear with their trinket. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm not a blacksmith, personally, is solely because I already have access to that trinket once it's released. So there's, you know, committing 400 or 500 gold for a trinket that you're only going to use temporarily. It feels bad, you know. It's kind of it feels like a commitment that I'm not really willing to make.
Yeah, blacksmith, like, it's like, unless you're planning on going to an armor smith or a weaponsmith, and even then it has limited ways to really make good gold. It's hard to commit to blacksmithing for just that trinket.
Yeah, it really is. And that's not to say, though, if you're not the first person on the server with a Lionheart helmet, you can make some good gold.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Do you have any? Is anyone in your guild a Lionheart helm crafter? Because holy cow, does that make some gold? That is some juicy gold.
I just joined a new raiding guild. My first raid will be with them Sunday. We'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, fair enough. What happened to that other guild that you were with? I think it was like Bird Up or something. I don't even know the name of the guild.
It was well met, and you know, a little bit of a shit show. The next duel is going to start though. Gets the fear off. Not gonna last very long with Will the Forsaken. Just fake casting with the Immolate, perhaps. Not sure if they wanted to get that off. Fear comes out from Kargaz, and they pop the Shadow Protection on themselves as well. Death Coil coming out onto him. It was resisted, which I think it was actually a previous duel as well, so pretty good luck from Kargaz here. As he has the Fear and just is sitting there draining life as those dots are whittling away, and here we are into the water again, under the sea. Defunct is very low. He has more mana, and he still has that life stone. The thing is, Kargaz is doomed here, so this might be one of those where at this point he has to life tap, and that starts to give him Defunct the upper hand.
Yeah, and it looks like Kargaz. Oh, Funky Pot had fled.
Oh no.
Looks like that's gonna happen again here. You know what? I don't remember what Funky Pot had said last time. But yeah, this is one of those moments that's just kind of awkward, right? Because we don't know who would have won that. Funky Pot obviously still had the Spellstone and his health stone available to him. It's just kind of one of those tough moments, you know? Alright, it looks like both players are actually going to just agree to redo the match. And I feel like for one of these moments, I think that it has to be, honestly. It's unfortunate, right? Because, you know, the Warlock that got that fear off and feared whoever off the map was definitely in control because they were able to get that fear off. In the same regards, we don't know what that person still had available to themselves in the toolkit to be able to come back in a situation like that. It's just one of those really kind of no one wins kind of scenarios, you know. It's just rough, really.
The water wins this one.
I guess we got to get the Avatar, dude. He's the master of all elements.
And we give these players water walking before the duel. Actually, if the Fell Hunters couldn't dispel it, then that'd be well and good.
Honestly, that might be a way to fix a situation like that, really.
Oh, I suppose the damage would cancel this. But I like the creative thinking.
Yeah, I would like to see some. I don't know. It feels like a lot of these mirror matches. It's you know, one player has a specific playstyle, and usually the person with the better playstyle is able to win these. But it seems like both of these players are relatively even matched, at least from their current specializations between the two of them. And you know, of course, they are 1-1, and now a pseudo tie between the two of them. So I would like to see some more of this. You know, very honestly high tier play between both of these players. Kargaz again going for this kind of just brute force, bully my way through, not really kind of do a difficult mechanics play, whereas Funky Pot going for more of these kind of tricky how did you have that left in your tank kind of plays to really throw the opponent off and be able to clutch out these victories. So really interested to see how both of these players are going to be able to clutch it out. I think Funky Pot is I think Funky Pot's slightly favored just because he has the undead mechanic available to him, and Forsaken is so strong here. But Kargaz again just trying to create some space here with his aggressive spells. So he's going to get Death Coil here. These dots are now going to be placed on him. Full dots are now going to be placed on the Kargaz. Kargaz is going to use his health surface. He is down to about 60 now. He no longer has his spells available. He is going to get feared here. He is going down so fast with all of these dots available to him. He's already lost 20% of his health. He's going down to about 30% of his health. He's got down to about 20% of his health. These dots are just doing so much. Looks like Funky Pot could take game number 3 between the two of them now. Funky Pot obviously here on to match point between the two players, and Kargaz.
That was 3.
Yeah, Kargaz won one.
No, those 3 wins from you, I'm pretty sure. You can go back and look at the VOD.
I won one of them, yeah, but I felt like you still won 3 and I won 1. But I don't know, maybe you
I
won
get
2.
mixed up all the time, so don't trust me, but I thought I won.
Hold on, someone in the chat might know, man. I think,
I'm pretty sure the one where you got feared and out of the map was duel number 3 right there.
So he took the first one, right? Then I took the second one, and then...
Yeah, you got fear bombed out of the map. Second, third one.
Was that the third one?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2-1 then? Really? I don't know, someone in the chat hopefully will know. Anybody catch it?
We phone a friend on this one.
Phone a friend in. See anybody? I'm waiting for some responses here. Someone's looking at the VOD on Twitch. We got a detective on the case. Good.
Alright. Well, that's good that we got
2-1 him. There's like 5 people saying it right now. So, I guess we got one more. Alright. Do my best.
Yeah, both of these playstyles are a lot harder to grasp than initially meets the eye. I think Warlock is one of the most difficult PvP classes in the game, but as you guys can see, when used to great effect, they could do some outstanding things and really just kind of dominate a whole scene, rather. Obviously, as both the Warlocks from previous weeks are now at the finals yet again, so would like to see what's going to be able to happen between the two of them, but I think with the way that Funky Pot has been playing, it has just been slightly better than Kargas, so again, I just want to give it to him, especially because he has access to that bullet for sake. Alright, and now we're just sitting waiting for this refractory period here to end between the two players. It looks like the dueling flag is going to drop down here between the two of them, and duel number 4 is about to start. I guess duel number 5 rather, right? Because the fear bomb happened and whoops. So can't really stop that. It just happens periodically. So now it looks like Funkybot here is going to try and get himself in Fizz to start this duel off here. If the Kargas has access to lesser invisibility here, so now Kargas is actually able to get the funky dots here onto him and on the Funkybot and his head. And now Funkybot is going to get Death Roll here. He is actually, Kargas is going to get feared here, or silence rather, in his fear here, as he's going to try to get some shot. Instead, he's going to get feared here into what looks like Oblivion, as these dots are just taken away at him. He is going to pop his health zone here. Step is going to be able to land here from Funkybot. Funkybot is going to be able to apply his curse back here. He's just going to pop the Shadow Burn here. Kargas here is going to use the Shadow Word here, trying to get some space for himself. Funkybot obviously going to use his Death Blow here, trying to get some space for himself as well. With this Spellstone here, the Spellstone obviously creating a lot of space for himself, as Kargas is down to about 12% health, and these dots are taken away at him. He's finally using his Spellstone here, as this dot finally wears away at him. He's not going to be able to get any of these bandage takes off. He is going to get signed with low health. He is down and what looks like out. And
Funkybot was getting pretty low.
GG's, bro. GG's, man.
GG, man. That was close.
Very GG's, yeah. GG's, I gotta learn about the mirror from you sometime. Alright. We did it. Warlock versus Warlock. Some big surprises there.
Hey, good duels, guys.
Yeah, good duels.
all right, and then we just got one more duel left in the tank. It is Pobus versus Nismo.
Oh, nice. We got the run. What do they call that? Quarterfinals or third and fourth place? Nice.
Yeah, third, fourth.
I tried, stream. I tried.
Looks like it's gonna be Mage versus Mage. Nismo versus Pobus.
I was really hoping to get that one officially, where I used my Rocket Helm. That was my one trick up my sleeve, you know.
With a,
Rocket Helm is pet.
Polymorph, he's going to be able to get this.
You saw how much more in control I was when I Rocket Helmed this pet.
Now, Pobus is going to answer back with his own Polymorph, and now he's put the connect magic up on Pobus. I'd like to see a little bit of a setup from Pobus. Pobus has been doing this all throughout the duel tournament, so now he's going to be able to put this Fireward up. He's going to go for a max rank Frostbolt here to try to do as much damage as possible onto Nismo before he's able to reapply his shield. And now Nismo going to get silenced into this Frost Nova here. He is not going to be able to blink out of this. This Frost Shatter combo is going to be able to land, and now Nismo down to about 40% health. And Pope is still at about 100% health. Nismo not trying to get these polymorphs off is kind of surprising to me. He's going to pop this Fireward here. He's going to try and channel full length Frostbolt, but he is going to get outranged here by Pope. Pope is playing this very well for himself. He's able to create the space between him and Nismo's pets, and now Nismo is going to be able to put this bandage up. Pope is going to be putting a rank 1 Frostbolt onto him. Nismo going to try and create some space, put this ice barrier, ice barrier rather, onto himself. Is now Pope is just going to drink as Nismo's trying to create him space. Nismo going to create himself some space by just getting the soft reset off here. He's going to be able to get this polymorph off, and now he's going to be able to drink himself and eat himself back to about near full mana here. I'd like to see Pobus try and do the same here as he gets out of this sheep, and now both players, it looks like they're just hard resetting. I would like to see Pobus actually try and create some close the distance between the two of them rather before Nismo was able to full reset there, but no, now Pope is just going to be forced to use the sheep, and now Nismo going to use his ice block. I feel like that was a little bit overzealous here from Nismo. Nismo is going to blink out of the shatter combo. Pope going to land onto Pope. Pope is going to ice block. I don't know what he was ice blocking there, but he is going to ice block here and just try and get himself a little bit of space here as Nismo is now just precasting onto Pobus. Pobus is just trying to get as many of these cooldowns back as possible. He is going to actually bait out the counter spell. He's going to be able to avoid it here. And now, nope, I was wrong. Nismo does have the improved counter spell, so counter spell is going to be able to land here from both players. Just spells going left and right as both of these players are just soft resetting and doing what they can. I'm not really sure what's going on, OG Jeffrey. What's going on?
Reset City, Mage's favorite course.
Yo, thank you so much, Tino,
that's
man.
the name of the game right now. The Frost Nova comes out.
Thank you very much, brother. Welcome, everybody.
They put down the Frost Nova themselves. So is this going to get resisted?
We are
but
dueling.
Players do have that improved counter spell, so fake casting isn't even going to do a lot.
Hope you had a great stream, bro.
Because they just trade these instant casts. You really only have time for those instant casts in the Scorch. You're not going to see a lot of full Frost bolts in this combo.
What were you guys up to with Stino today?
Mana, uses the mana gem, but at this point does have less health. Not to say a crit won't bring him back at this point, but it is looking as though Pobus is going to take this one. Unless he can get a crit.
Very nicely played. You love to see the Smolder Web's eye, dude. This man's using every trinket.
This particular round. And this is kind of the name of the...
Oh, look at all the baller spam. I love it.
Mage versus Mage. Mage versus anything. If they can reset, they're going to do it if they're on the back foot. Then a Mage versus Mage matchup is just going to be reset after reset.
He got the eye today? No way.
Especially if the mages are willing to like polymorph and then blink away.
Grats, man. Big grats,
eat
dude.
up, and then sometimes you'll even see it where then the other mage is like, well, then I got to drink up too. And then they just kind of like sit there having a stare down of drinking and eating from 40 plus yards away.
We are doing a duel tournament for all of you guys tuning in. We're on to the very last match of the day.
The
They're doing
are always going to favor the
third and
player
fourth place match.
Cooldowns remaining, so you can force your opponent to use a big cooldown like an ice block and then get the reset. You're going to have a huge advantage once you re-engage. But also, if one player is simply lower in health or mana and they can reset back to full, then they're getting everything back to 50-50 instead of being at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of seemed like I wasn't really sure about the uses of the ice block there. That's kind of like what threw me off. They were just trading spells and max rank frost bolts and counter spells and scorches, and then all of a sudden, both of them just kind of threw down an ice block. It didn't really seem like they were on the back foot, or it seems like they could have used the ice block to break themselves out of a sheep and use it a little bit more aggressively to try and fully take over a duel rather than just prevent one, I guess. Oh shoot.
Yeah, I also noticed some good plays and counter plays in that duel. Nismo timed his Frostbolt, max rank Frostbolt, right on time to land when the ice block ended, but then Pobus used his Frost Reflector right out of the ice block, but Nismo was actually able to react in time and cancel his Frostbolt. So some interesting back and forth counterplay.
Okay. That's all right. See, that's where I think I got lost. It's just because I just saw a bunch of buffs coming out and not a whole lot going on. Is what it felt like. But both of these players just getting inside each other's head, and yeah. a little bit
Yeah,
more
Ice
than
Block
meets
is
the
interesting
eye.
in this matchup because there's no dots to clear or anything. You really can either use it defensively to avoid big damage incoming or aggressively to, avoid the Frost Nova or whatever when someone's trying to peel you off.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, duel number 2 between both players about to start here. I don't know if either of them had used their cold snaps for the last duel, but Nismo just going to start this duel off here with a blanket silence to try and get a rank 1 frostbolt here onto Pobus. But Pobus just going to go here for a polymorph. He is going to be able to get this off with his own counter spell. So now both players' counter spells are down for the next 24 seconds or so. But now this Cold going to be able to follow up here onto Nismo. Nismo down to about 50% health already, but Pope is down to about 70% mana. And now Nismo going to try and get this bandage off, but
He has poison on him.
The poison
Yo, the smolder web's eye though, dude. That is sick, man. The poison coming into play right there. You guys saw that? Too funny, man. You love to see it.
You don't see that trinket used properly a lot. In fact, you don't see it used much at all, really, for that matter.
That is sick.
Yeah, love to see it. You love to see it. And now Pobus here just trying to create some space for himself here because he is on the forefront of this duel here. He's trying to prevent these resets from happening. So he's just trying to outrange here this polymorph and make sure that Nismo can't leave combat. But now Nismo is going to use a blink here. Instead, he's just going to spell his doom here as this huge Ice Block, Frostbolt combo, Shatter combo is going to be able to land here onto him. But now this Flesh Collector is going to be able to land here onto Pobus as Nismo was actually just reading him and baiting him, and now this polymorph is going to be able to go off here, but now this instant ice block here is going to land, and Nismo wasn't necessarily prepared for it, but now he is going to go for this double ice block here, and now it looks like Nismo's almost on match, or Popus here is almost on match point. He's going to be able to get this bandage off here. Finally, this frost grenade is going to land. This frostbolt is going to land. He's going to put him down to about 15% health, and now this crit's going to finalize this duel.
Yeah, good play. He
well played, man.
Was trying to he ice blocked the first sheep Pobus did there at the end. Tried to outrange the second one, but he even cold snapped just in case he didn't outrange the second sheep, and he didn't, and he was able to ice block that one too. So good,
yo, Jeff, isn't that the sign of a good mage though? The ones that don't forget to immediately snap after you block though, like just thinking ahead. Yo, that happens sometimes when you're dueling mages. They forget to do it right after, and you can CC them, like you can chain them, right? Because they forgot to snap. They don't have the extra block.
Yep, that's definitely a sign of a good mage, knowing that you can, knowing it's time when it's time to reset, which is traditionally right after the block. It's great if you can still get value from some of your other frost spells, namely like Barrier and Nova, but sometimes you're going to do it just for the block. It's that important.
So what do you guys think about him using both ice blocks there just to secure the win when it seemed like to me he might have just won it anyways if he sat in the sheep, but you never know with the full reset capability of Mage.
Yeah, there's so many different lines with Mage versus Mage, man. I don't fault him for just trying to secure it, feeling like you can just guaranteed get this one, because even if they were to go into another matchup and he really wanted ice block, he could just play keep away, and just commit to a line that's like very conservative, just very like defensive, and try and bait out time until like he has it, if it's that important or not. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think that it's very, very difficult, to try and like I know that players like Zico and it starts with a B, Benruki, they actually win a majority of their mirror matchups just because they know when to use those ice blocks and counter spells, and it's such a methodical play style that it's really hard to understand what it is that's going in those players' minds, and be able to extrapolate it and take advantage of it for yourself. So I feel like even some of the best mages don't necessarily know.
CK, you want to see the gear? Sure, man. It's not that great. Got T2 helm.
Weird.
6-piece Felheart. I have 1 piece, the head in the bank, so I just need legs to have the 8-piece. Using the beast cloak.
I like the offensive line of play.
Pretty much it, man. The shitty blade.
Sometimes you just got it with your ice
Storm
blocks,
Rager.
It could have bit him in the butt if he started then losing the duel if
think he was
Mage
alright.
then was able to reset. Punish him for double ice blocking there, the sheeps. But at that point, you've been sheep twice. That's if he resheeps you, that's diminished. That's
What is the requirement to get
invited?
invited, Mr. Mister?
Lot of
Nah, no
information
requirement,
return
man.
on
You
it.
just literally just sign up, bro. It's just open to anybody, you know.
It'd be a pretty short sheep even if you got a third one off.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's one of those matchups that's like, you know, it's really hard to tell what's going on in both of these players' minds because you know, seemingly it's you know, easy, you know, an easy class to play, but there's a lot that goes on under
What's
the
spec
hood,
for World PvP?
for the mage class.
I'm going to go SL.
You don't really realize, right? Like the whole idea where, you know,
Shadowburn?
rogue on you,
SLSB?
they have their kick up, that, you know,
Most likely.
casting a spell, you know, is a very high risk, low reward kind of play. But if you can, you know, go for like a big 1 second frostbolt cast to try and create some space before you blink, that could be the difference between killing a rogue who is, you know, an incredibly good player and just getting absolutely dominated. So it's there's a lot more nuance to the class than it initially meets the eye.
Yeah, I would say Mage is easy to learn, but impossible to master.
For sure.
Such a high ceiling.
Also, you need like 3 gems for this too, right? I mean, these things kind of drag on for a while. You probably have time to pop at least 2.
Yeah, honestly, you're right. You know, that might be one of the differences that Popus is making between him and Nismo here, is that he just makes sure to always have 2 of these gems, so that even though Popus feels like he's on the back foot in terms of mana discrepancy, is able to clutch these games out before they, you know, it ever really comes to it. So now Nismo here immediately onto the back foot here. They're both going to be popping all of their AoE cooldowns, and it looks like Nismo popped. I'm not really sure it was. It may have been a trinket of sorts, but Pobus has the Smolder's Web on him, and that's Cold Cold's going to be able to land here. It's going to be able to get Shatter comboed here by Nismo. Nismo just too low to be able to do anything about it. This Blanket Silence is going to be able to take game number 3, and Pobus playing that, I want to say, incredibly well between the 2.
Hell yeah. 3rd place Pobus.
Good mage play.
Hell yeah. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, he's been performing all day.
All right, and so now we have our winners, Funky Pot again. 2nd place will be Kargaz, and so now we have 3rd place is Pobus, and 4th place is Nismo. So we got 210 gold in the pot this week. Oh wait, no, I didn't get Pobus's gold. So.
You can just reinvest whatever is for 2nd place into the pot for next week. If there's anything. Or next time. Man, that was a lot of fun though, dude. I'm so glad we actually did it, even though, you know, we didn't have the hugest crowd. It just shows that we're committed, right? People watching and stuff, you know, no matter the turnout, we're still gonna make it happen. Love to see it. Big shout out to Sasuke getting it done, dude. Driving the needle forward.
Yeah, without a doubt, it can be hard to organize these things.
Definitely.
Well done.
Absolutely. And, you know, for everyone watching too, like, if you care about the PvP scene, the community, man, get involved. It's just, people are asking about requirements to join this. No requirements, really. Just be cool and be around, be available. Big grats to Funky Pot.
Thank you, brother.
Hell yeah. You're giving him the old ogre treatment? There's the firewater on him.
Oh yeah,
Didn't have
Funky
the
Pot.
ogres today, unfortunately.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, and then where is Nismo?
What do you want from me?
All right, perfect. Everyone got their gold. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone for showing up. I'm gonna drop down into the channel, say thank you to everyone else and participants, stuff like that. But seriously, guys, Kargaz, thank you for reaching out. In the first place. I don't think this, I would have done a second event, to be honest, without you. OG Jeffrey, it's always a pleasure to have you. I don't have any words to express, how thankful I am for you guys showing up. Funky Pot also, for coming up with the rules yourself and really just having a lot bigger role than I think people realize you do. So I just want to say thanks.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
All right, I'm gonna hop up.
All right. Take care, guys.
Hey, see you guys. Take care. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we did it. I really appreciate the host from Poongoon, Stino, High Warlord Stino. Unfortunately, it was right at the very end of the Duel tournament, but I really, really appreciate that, guys, and those of you who have followed as a result of Poongoon. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. We could do these pretty regularly, bi-weekly at this point. They're kind of small, but something, right? So, something to look forward to. I appreciate you guys watching today. Hope you have a really good weekend, and probably be back maybe Monday or something like that. Alright. See you guys later. Take care.